Okay, so we're live. We're doing more of the Rust stuff. Working on a CLI app. Why is this in full screen? And also, I'll be able to answer more questions in these streams, so feel free to send messages in chat. Feel free to ask questions. This is all the messages from the last chat. I don't know if I can somehow refresh this. Okay. Yeah, so feel free, if you got questions, ask them. I might look into... I'm starting to come up with like a game plan too for updating some stuff with Neovim, and that's coming up eventually. Probably not in this stream. This stream I'm going to be looking into hopefully potentially finishing up the CLI project that I was working on, which I kind of did some work on it since my last stream. I think it's just called Colorscheme-Nvim. Yeah. Also, make sure to check out the Discord too. So if you're interested in these streams, if you're interested in coding, if you're interested in Neovim and stuff like that, check out the Discord. Lots of people there. I'm there. I can answer more questions there. How's it going, Glee? I think it's Glee? Glay? Something like that. Yeah, so I'll be able to answer all your questions here. Also, you probably see like a little pop-up down there, and you know, I can sometimes see those if I'm looking to my left at the screen. All right, so let me get started. I made a little bit of progress on this. Let's go like this and like this. Okay. Also, I wrote this thing, like a super simple thing. All right, so there's a couple things going on here, but so now in Rust, basically you have this idea of like unwrap, and so unwrap is like a lazy way to just kind of like handle errors and just automatically panic. And so what I have here is like a little diagnostic or linter letting me know like, hey, don't forget to handle this later on. And like, you know, I guess you could go through and you could search for like unwrap everywhere and then just go and handle it, right? But it's just kind of nice to see like how often I'm doing it, and then having this little message tell me like, hey, don't forget to handle that. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I can show you how I did that. It's actually really simple, and you can write your own linters like really easily if you're using something like null.ls. Thanks for the awesome Neovim videos. Yeah, there's going to be more Neovim videos. I want to finish... This is almost like a Neovim video, honestly, in and of itself, because I'm making a Rust app that's going to generate color schemes, and we're pretty close, right? So this is about as far as I got. So here's the top level of the color scheme, then Lua, then you have the one darker. That's just what like I have in here right now. Actually, it's further along than that. Let me delete that and come over here. I'm also using this other plugin called Jack, J-A-Q. And so if I do, I got screen key now. Let me see. Yeah, J-A-Q. So if I do Alt-R, it'll just run the program for me, which is nice. So I don't have to like do cargo run or anything like that. It'll just like run it, and then I can do Alt-R again. It'll get rid of it. Just press it again. Like it just keeps running it, you know. So that's kind of nice. Let's see. Hit up that shadow theme. Absolutely not. Too much pink for me, personally. I use Neovim as my IDE now because of your brilliant tutorials. Yeah, there's gonna be more tutorials in the future. One big problem that I found while I was working on while I was working on the tutorials, and I got like halfway through, was that I got kind of like rug pulled by like, you know, multiple plugins updating and Neovim itself updating, and then just like other like old like ways of doing things going. It just like, because the Neovim space just moves so fast that it's hard to kind of nail it down, right? So those videos, it's like I'm showing you how to do something with a plugin, but the plugin is different, you know, 1 month later. So I think really the general idea for doing Neovim plugins or setting up your Neovim stuff, or really software in general, right, is just to understand one layer back. So like, what do I need? I need a completion plugin. I need to understand what language server protocol is. I need to understand what tree sitter does for me. And then later on, you'll be able to just fill in those blanks. Like right now, CMP is kind of like the plugin that does auto completion the best. So if I start like typing like PU, like, I don't know, I was kind of expecting public or something. I'm expecting to be in Java, like let, right? So like you can see like I'm getting all this completion here. Now right now I'm using CMP for that, but in the future it might not be CMP anymore. It might be something different. So it's kind of just giving you an idea of like what blanks you need to fill in, and then just like where to go and get those things. Hi from Indonesia. Hey, how's it going? What's up? Finally caught a stream. How's it going, Singularis? Yeah, so the stream, yeah, these streams are going to be a lot more laid back than me just like literally like reciting the Rust book for like the first few chapters, just because like I was interested in like kind of trying to learn it like officially, right? So because it's a kind of a difficult enough paradigm to get used to anyway. Neovim setup in Windows? Absolutely not. That's not going to happen. I don't even know how to use Windows. So, hey, how's it going, Per Pedersen? You make like every single stream, man. Yeah, I haven't used Windows in forever, and I don't plan to use Windows probably ever. I've found recently that some Rust files don't format on save while others do. No errors on code since it compiles and runs well. Any idea? It depends what you mean by format on save. Are you using LunarVim, I guess? There has to be something like that. Because like if I do LSP toggle auto format, right? Like I will always get format on save if I do that. Uh-oh. I think I'm losing some of my bandwidth here. Let me know. Hopefully it gets better. Let's see here. The constant breaking changes in Neovim are an issue. There really isn't a way to write an unbreakable NVim config, and really, if you think about it, that's a good thing. Well, there is a way to do that, and I've done it, and it's pin all of the packages, right? So yeah, you can write one. You certainly can. I mean, the only thing would be if the repo got removed from GitHub. That would be like the only way to break the NVim unbreakable config. Would be to actually do that. So if you actually install Neovim 0.7 and you use that config, it will not break. I mean, it might have bugs, but it won't break. You know, that's kind of the difference, I guess. I don't know what that means. What font am I using? JetBrains Mono. Imagine not formatting your own code and like tabbing everything over yourself and getting rid of all the white space on your own. All right, so anyway, yeah, let me show you how far I got with this project here. So if we go to one darker, Lua, one darker, we already made the init file, right? And then also we already made our palette file. So this is where all of your colors are going to be. And then this is going to be the init file that that like runs immediately, I guess, and does all of like the sourcing for the highlights and stuff. Actually, I have to pull up a Colorscheme because I was kind of using their format to do this. Can you share a tutorial how to use Vim in Windows from zero? Because I'm a newbie. It's gonna have to be someone else who teaches people how to do Neovim in Windows. I wouldn't even know where to begin, and I wouldn't. It would be just way too much of a time sink for me to like install Windows and then figure out how to. I mean, I would be a noob. Like I would be starting at the same line as you with that. So anyway, let me move this thing over here. So yeah, that's that. Really quick, I'm gonna open up the awesome Neovim thing, and it opened it up, of course, over in the wrong browser. Let's do this. Let's not do this here. We'll do it like this. We'll just open this up. How's it going? Bodice 357. Milk and Senpai. How about Windows subsystem for Linux and using LunarVim? I'm sure it's possible, but I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to install Windows subsystem for Linux. Freaking love LunarVim, Chris. We have a Slack channel at AWS dedicated to LunarVim, geeking out. Oh, really? That's hilarious. Well, I plan to bring some new updates to LunarVim. Let me show you actually some of the ideas that I have for LunarVim, because LunarVim is it's kind of bothering me in some ways, some things. So, like, basically, my idea is that right now the code base is a little unapproachable, and I want it to be more approachable. That's kind of my plan. So if we go to, I think it's in core. A few things have changed since I've last been here. I know see, this is the problem. I should just be able to find the key maps thing as fast as, you know, as fast as I can think about it, right? Like in my other configs, I have the key maps thing. Might be built-ins. No, it could be in. Is it just here and I'm just like missing it somehow? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna have to look for it. So let me clone this down and then I'll. This is my problem though, by the way, and this is what I'm gonna fix. This is what I'm set out to fix. All right. Let's go repos, get clone this guy. And then other people will be able to add things to it and kind of, you know, figure out how it works and so on and so forth. So if we go to init, and now let's look for key maps. Oh, did I just miss it and it's like right there? Okay, yeah. So like for me, a lot of this stuff, right, is a little complicated. Like it's just, but needlessly so. Like we don't really need to do all this, right? Like this is a lot of code. One of the best things I've found about good projects is they know when to remove things, right? So we've already built up a really good core with LunarVim, and now I think we need to strip away some stuff. So like if we look at the README here, whoops, I don't know what happened there, but if we look at the README here, what does it put? Like all this stuff here, like for instance, we have like lvim.keys normal mode, and then you can set this key in normal mode. But I'm thinking like, why not just use the Vim API for this? It's not hard, right? And then it also shows you, the closer we get to like having the configuration be like regular Neovim, the more people will be able to interchangeably move between LunarVim and Neovim, right? And I'd like it for the most part if there was only like a few LunarVim specific things, right? And then like everything else you would set just with normal Neovim stuff. It's not like the vim.setKeyMap thing is like a hard concept, right? So that's my thinking. I don't know. Maybe I can get some ideas. When I work on it, I plan to do it live on stream, and then you guys can come up with you guys can help me come up with ideas and stuff. Let me see here. Are you going to make a Neovim IDE for JavaScript development? Yeah, I mean, mine already is that, and honestly, the base config is almost good enough for that. Like, it already has snippets, it already has TypeScript installed by default, and JSON, LS, and all that kind of, like, if you go and look here, if we look at mvim basic IDE, like, this already is a TypeScript IDE, so it already has the highlighting, right? And if you go here, if you go to LSP, and if you go to LSP installer, by default, I already installed TS server and like JSON LS, YAML LS, things that you might need while doing web development. You just add to this list, you know what I mean? Like any servers that you find, if you do space LI like this, you just go through this list, right? And whatever, I don't know, like what you're doing web dev, what would you maybe want? Maybe you're doing like Vue or something like that. So you go and look at like Vue, right? And then you just press I on top of Vue. Like if we go down here and press I, boom, it's installing it. And so once it's installed, then all you have to do is add it to this list. And then it's an IDE for that, right? There's not really much else. The reason I did Rust and Java separately was because there's two other repositories that kind of really help in with the language, right? So let me move this thing 1 second. So there's two things. There's mvim jdtls, right, which is very difficult to I mean, it's, you know, he makes it easy compared to like how difficult it would be without this plugin, right? But yeah, this is like a difficult plugin to set up, especially if you want debugging and all that kind of good stuff. And then there's also Rust Tools .nvim. And Rust Tools nvim is 1 second. Yeah. So Rust Tools nvim is what I was using in that IDE video and in that branch, and it provides things like if we go back over here and we go if we go back to this, yeah, you see these like hints like that, right? And I really like having those, and there's no good way to set them without using Rust tools right now, as far as I know. It's kind of like a difficult thing, and I might even get into that in this stream because there's some weird bugs going on with Neovim's runtime when it comes to getting these, and that's another thing. That's something I might go over during the stream. So that's why I have those two separate branches for those two particular languages. So if you look at the basic IDE here and you look at the branches, I have one for Copilot that shows you how to do that, one for Java, and one for Rust. And that's why I have that. You don't use Octotree? I did for a little while, but then sometimes I'll like put my mouse over here and it'll just like pop up and it drives me nuts, makes me angry. Hey, can you tell me your Arch Linux config, please? It depends what you mean by Arch Linux config. I don't really have like an Arch Linux config. I have a DWM setup and Z Shell setup, I guess. How's it going, Slavka? Falling in love with your config, man. It's so much easy to use and clean. Yeah. So that's if you go back to my first Vim video I ever made, that was like my #1 gripe, which was just that every single Vim config that I showed up to was different and like a special snowflake and ugly as shit and all in one big file, and it was always horrible. And so I was like, how hard would it be to just, I mean, it just makes everything easier. Just require each plugin config separately and do everything related to that plugin in that plugin config. Because if you do that, then everything becomes real obvious, and then other people can grab pieces from your config. Like, look how, like, my super crazy config that does, like, 1 billion different things, right? Like, it supports all the languages that I code in, and all and just 1 million other plugins that I have, right? And why does it like basically never break for me? Because if you go and look at it, and you go to Lua and you go to my user here, every single plugin is in its own space, right? Like it's just in its own spot. So if I'm like, oh shit, Navic started to break, I can just basically comment it out, and then it'll be fine. If anything else starts to break. Now, a few of them have to kind of move between different things, and probably the most complicated concept is LSP, and that's why I give it its own folder, but everything else is just in its own directory. So if you want to know how I set things up for Telescope, for instance, you could just go to the Telescope thing and you can see exactly how I do it. Let me see. I keep getting, like, bad... I don't know. It's not raining or anything. Off topic, how do you handle Wi-Fi and DWM? I haven't found a decent GUI and always resort to NMCLI. I just use the Network Manager applet. NM Manager applet. Like, you can't see it, but maybe if I do this. No, wait, 1 second. What is it? It's this, yeah? No, you can't see it because it's on the other screen. There's like a little thing up here. It's called NM Applet Manager, something like that. Just look into it. That's what I recommend. Yeah, I've used it. I think you're talking about Octotree. I've used it. Maybe I should use it again. Maybe it's not as annoying as I thought. Yeah. Here for Hyperland. Oh, we're not using Hyperland here today, but I am using Hyperland on my laptop. So if you guys haven't seen Hyperland, Hyperland. I always get Hypeland. Like, okay, if I just put in Hyperland, like this, I get this thing like Hypeland, which is like a retail clothing business or something like that. So yeah, I don't get any Hyperland on the main page. So I have to do like Hyperland WM. Yeah, and here you go. So yeah, I'm not gonna play any videos or anything like that. But I've been using this on my laptop because I have a touchpad on my laptop and I like to swipe kind of between windows, and this gives me like a nice I had that working for Sway, but it would be so jarring in Sway. But Hyperland like nicely lets me slide. And then also I put an issue in recently. I was asking for what was I asking for? I've been putting in a lot of issues. My first issue was stupid, but I asked him for master stack layout like DWM, and like he just delivered it like I don't know the next day basically. Maybe not even. So that was really nice, and because that's all I really use is master stack layouts. Now, one problem I do have right now is that the master stack layout, if you go over to this, here you can kind of see like how the windows look and all, right? So like they kind of like move. They got animations. You can turn off the animations if you don't want that, but like I like the animation for sliding between workspaces. Now, one problem I do have though is if you watch this, the stack on the right. Like the slave windows here, they go to the bottom, like after they're done. I wish they went to the top. So that's that's gonna be my next complaint. But yeah, no, this is a great so far. I mean, it's obviously pretty still in beta, so don't expect it to be like the most rock solid stable window manager out there right now for Wayland, but it's one that's kind of nice. I don't have my config out there yet though, but it's not super complicated. No webcam today. Maybe in the future. Okay. Let's see. We're probably gonna do Rust. I'm gonna be pretty close to doing Rust. Or I mean, what was I trying to say? I said it was pretty close. What I meant to say was it's pretty close between doing Rust and the LunarVim stuff today. And I want to finish this, and yeah, also I'm pretty close to finishing this. So I just need to fill out all the other files, and then I have a Colorscheme generator that's portable that you can install with Cargo, and then blah blah blah, right? And then I learned a little bit more Rust. Yeah, everyone is here today. It's nice to stream during like the weekends, like at a reasonable time, because more people show up. Maybe I should just quit my job and stream during working hours. Arsenic setup, please. We can do that in another stream. Maybe I'll do it later in the stream. We'll see. Is there anything you're missing in Neovim? Like missing, like I wish I had. The only thing I wish I had in Neovim, well, I've been working on like a buffer switcher thing that's just kind of like a fork of jabs, but I wish that thing worked a little bit better. And then, but that's kind of up to me or the guy from Jabs, but I don't want to like force all of the things I want to do on him. And let me think. I wish sometimes it was easier to... Actually, I don't really have that many gripes with Neovim at this point. I think it just works almost exactly how I want. What's the underline on the mouse hover thing you have going on? Oh, that. This thing here? So, what's... where do we go? This is just letting me know that... I think this is what you're talking about. This is just letting me know that I need to handle the unwraps. And this isn't something provided by Rust. This is something that I cooked up myself. And it was really easy using NullLS, right? So if you go to config here, and we'll go to LSP, and then we'll go to NullLS down here at the bottom of my config. I just set up my own linter, and basically just says, okay, if you find something like unwrap in Rust code, right, and file type's Rust, then what I want you to do is insert a diagnostic that says, hey, user, don't forget to handle this, and then basically that's all it does. And yeah, so it's kind of nice because now everywhere it says, you know, letting me know that I gotta handle that. Am I a heretic if I use regular Vim? No. If anything, I think I'd be a heretic at this point, but for using Neovim. And Primogen made a video about how he's probably not going to go back to Vim because Vim 9. I don't know why Vim 9 script. I feel like, I don't know. I don't really. Basically, if you want my take on why Vim 9 script is a thing, you can just go and watch that video, and that is basically, I agree. I tried to use it in the past, LunarVim with .NET and Rust. Works great, but figure how to configure a debugger. I found a video on your channel, thanks. Yeah, I definitely set up the debugger in one of the videos. I would really like the code in Rust and LunarVim. Rust Analyzer is not usable in LunarVim. It crashes. Yeah, Rust Analyzer has some problems. That's not really a LunarVim thing, I don't think. I mean, it's just kind of a Neovim thing, if anything. Emacs and Lips hipster when? Probably never. Yeah, thank you, Shadow. No, but I mean, I think I went over this before. I have like an Emacs config. This was about to be an Emacs channel, and then it wasn't because I couldn't install a version of Emacs that I wanted. At least not without compiling from source, but I couldn't install a version of Emacs that I wanted in a Red Hat box when I used to work at Lockheed. So then I was just like, screw it, I'm going to use Neovim, and it had just the perfect one to have the LSP stuff already, and they had that package. So I was like, sweet. And I just went with Neovim from there. NMTUI is good too, but I just have like this little button at the top on my other screen. Actually, I could probably, maybe I could show you, because we could do, if I add like a screen input, we'll do it later. That's not a big deal. Why don't you use Awesome WM? Because I don't want too many things to rice and work with all the time. So that's why. DWM, the nice thing about it, it's compiled. So like if I want to make a change on the fly, I have to like log out, which is like an extra step, which is annoying. So I like the fact that it just encourages me not to play with it. And I haven't really touched my DWM config in a long time. Like I've added key bindings for new things, but I don't like really screw with it. And I really like that about DWM. I've never used dmenu with... I've really never really used dmenu for anything other than just looking up programs, honestly. Jabs is nice, but I don't like a couple things about Jabs. But I do like Jabs. I just don't like the aesthetic look of Jabs, I guess, is my problem. And then also, I'm not a fan of how he's parsing... If you look at the code, how he's getting the actual buffers. Like, if you look at the BFS stuff I'm working on, it gets the... like, I'm using some of his code for, like, how to handle the windows and stuff like that, but, like, actually generating and populating that initial window with the buffers in it, I'm using, like, the Lua API for that. I've never used .NET Core, so I don't know. Underlines that appear in some places in your Neovim when you hover your mouse over them. Oh. That's just Kitty, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what underlines you're talking about. Maybe over a link? There's no link here. What is this problem? I think Tree Sitter's having some problems with Markdown lately. So I literally just updated Tree Sitter. Oh, that's nice. And it looks like that's kind of a problem now. How do you learn Rust so quickly? I did not learn Rust quickly. I did the book on stream every day for a week. So I didn't learn it that quickly. I don't think I did, at least. The unwrapped null-ls adapter is dope. Saw that on Discord. Yeah, it's nice, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like, just slowly try to do stuff in NVim, and then when you can't, just go back to VS Code, and then just keep trying to move over if that's what you want to do, if it doesn't waste too much of your time. Hi, Chris. What map are you using for highlighting the current line? Highlighting the current line? I think that's just cursor line. That's built in. You just set the cursor line. Actually, I think I have it set, I have an option. So if I do O and I do L, it turns off the cursor line. And then if I do O, L, it'll turn it back on. So, yeah. I think that's maybe what you mean. If this happens to me or not, no-less format on save has delay for a second to format and it's bugging me. I don't know if this is necessarily it, but try updating update time. Make that like 0. Give that a shot. I don't know if it'll work. What's your opinion on Pomandre's theme? I think you'll like it. I don't know what that is. Is it on awesome Neovim? Like if I go in here. Nope. I'm afraid to look up this word because I don't even know what it is. Didn't you work for Lockheed? I used to work for Sandia. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, didn't know I worked for Lockheed. Yeah, my first year out of college, I worked for Lockheed. And then they didn't want to promote me. And then I threatened to leave, and then they were like, okay, we're going to promote you. But then I left anyway, and now I work at Comcast. But yeah. Because I had to move to the city because my girlfriend was going to do a PhD over at UPenn. And so we were like, all right, let's go over to the city, whatever, let's do that. And now I work basically from home because I'm definitely not going back into Philadelphia. Rust Analyzer works fine for me. I just don't use the inlays, and yeah, I really want to use the inlays, but they're so buggy. Not using dmenu for literally everything that can be selected or asked on your system is a crime. Well, then, you know, maybe eventually I'll get into it. I use Linux, Arch Linux. Sort buffers and jabs. It doesn't really bother me, but maybe that would be nice. My workplace, everybody uses IntelliJ for Java and Angular development. Do you think with the right setup you can get close to feature parity with MVim? Yeah, probably. I mean, I am a Java developer. I do Java every single day, and I use Neovim every single day to write Java code, and it's good enough for me. I think maybe I can try and show you some of the Java stuff, right? So do I have an open situation here anywhere? We'll just go like this. I don't have Java automatically sourced, so I have to do that. We open just this HTTP client example thing. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just open this, I guess. Yeah. So right now, it looks like I am having a problem with it, but I don't know what the issue is. Let me see. I might not have it installed or something. But it looks like Google Java Format's working, which is, I guess, nice. I wonder what the problem is, though. Do I have it installed? I think, actually, I know why it's failing. I don't have, right now I have it set up to use the debugger stuff, so I would think if I turn that off, like if we just do that, and then maybe this will work. I don't know. No, it still fails. I have it working at work, but I'll have to sort that out. Yeah, Markdown is definitely the update for Tree Sitter, so you can put an issue in on Tree Sitter. Do I have any programming courses? Nah, I don't. Maybe I should. Maybe I should make some. People tell me I'm good at explaining things. Visual selection, you go from the end of the line till the start of the line? Sorry, I meant like you do visual selection, you go to the end of the line and select till the start of the line? I don't know. I just kind of go like this. Just move up and down. That, or like if you're here and then you're like that, you can press the % sign and you can just grab the entire function, right? So that's like another thing I guess you can do. What's up, Alexander? Can you showcase your buffer plugin? Yeah, let's see if it works. Nope. There you go. There's a showcase. let me try with this. For some reason, it won't work there, but it definitely works here. Okay, so this is what mine looks like basically. So if I could do it like this and do it like that, right? And I could just kind of move between buffers like this, and this stops me from having to deal with this. I don't know what the problem was just a second ago with that, but yeah. So like now, you know, you can do this. And then the other thing is you can just press D, and then they're gone, right? I don't know if I got preview working. No, I don't think so. And then what else? That's, I think, basically it. And for me, it kind of goes really well with that Saibu thing that I have. One second. Whoops, let me get rid of all the changes I just made there. Which is like, how do I have it set up? Like this. Yeah, so you can see the Saibu thing up there. and I like that too, because it just shows me really quick what I'm swapping to and what's in my buffer list. And I hate buffer lines at the top. I didn't realize I hated them so much until I got rid of it, and I was like, wow, it's really comfy not to have that there. Did you check out my example of lifetimes from Discord DM? Yeah, I did see that, but I didn't have the time to check it out. I'll have to go back and check that out. Because lifetimes is a thing I really would like to master that at some point. This is actually pretty nice. Yeah, I do like this. Maybe I'll try it out at some point. Oh, it's got a hyper theme too. Oh, this is hyper, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. This is Mac OS. It looked like hyper because of the rounded windows and things. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out at some point. Let's go back to the chat here. Well, so lately things have been a little weird for me. Let's go see if we can get the debugger to work really quick. If I go to Rust, because okay, I'm also on a feature branch of the Rust thing, because I'm like trying to suss out some of the things with it. So if we go and look at Rust tools, right now I'm on this feature branch, but if we go to, I have a branch out for this. So if we go to my GitHub, because this is a very this is about as stable as I've gotten it to behave, and we go to Rust tools, right? And do I have a branch out for this? Handler nil check, yeah. So we want me, and then we want handler nil check. So that'll give us the most handler nil check. And then Chris rolling, boom. Okay, I don't know what I did there. Yes. And failed to install that, and the reason for that is that should have worked. Unless I spelled something wrong in the handler nil check. Let's go see. Was it underscores? It's underscores. There we go. Alright, now this one should be as close to good, like, I don't know, like working as possible. So if we go to Rustbook, and we go to, I think Adder has a test in it. Yeah. Here we go. So now we got a test, and we should see, okay, run debug. I don't know why it's all the way at the top here. This is the thing. Code Lens and Inlay Hints, they need some love. Like, they're not always the smartest. So, okay, now we have our test. So I can do, we'll just put like the print macro here, and we'll say like, hi. The other thing would be, because we should be able to, kind of sucks because I had this working before with DAP, but anyway, I don't know. Space, LL, run test. Okay, that runs the test there, but we wanted to debug it. So let's do space DB. No, I'm not. I'm using an older version of DAP as well. So if we look at plugins, this is where Neovim starts to get, like, you gotta have like a kind of advanced knowledge of what you want to do, I think. And if we look for DAP, yeah, so we have this. I don't even have it installed, so that would be like number one. All right, so now that that's installed, let's reopen this. We'll wait for Rust Analyzer. All right, now space DB. Okay, we can put debugging points there, but how come I don't have my cool bug? the reason I don't have my cool bug is because DAP UI is not installed. So let's also install DAP UI. Boom. Maybe this will be the stream where I get this working. Maybe that's a good idea for this stream. Maybe this stream I will figure out debugging once and for all, and I will make it work. So now we'll do space DB. Now we have cool, handsome bugs. I'm gonna say let, no. Let A equal string from blah. What's the problem? Oh. Okay. So, see, I love these inlay hints. They're just great. But they're a little buggy. And we'll do space DB here. I don't know. So this will be nice because then I can see it in the, hopefully in the DAP UI if I can get the DAP UI working. So let's maybe spend some time getting debugging working and understanding all of the ins and outs of debugging, I guess. So now if I do space DC, that will continue, but it says I don't have anything for Rust. So instead, I can probably do space LL, which does that, and then I can click debug. Okay, and now we're debugging, but I don't have the UI set up, right? So now I'm kind of going through this test and debugging it, but where's my UI, right? That's kind of the hook that I want to work. So if do I have DAP, continuous output, toggle REPL? Yeah, what about the DAP UI? Right, so let's just finish this. We'll do space DC, all right, and there you go. Now what you don't see is that we have this DAP REPL now, and you can see that it ran this test and test adds to blah blah blah, right? So and it passed. So we can get this output here in the DAP REPL, and we ran the test. But what I wanted was I wanted the DAP UI to show up, but it didn't. And that's something that I would like to work. How do you get your cursor to move so fast? I feel like you're set up putting my M1 Pro to shame. No, that's just, you can go to your keyboard settings and you can increase key repeat. Generator to make Lua native. Can't like it here. Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully when I finish this, we can do that. Does your fidget show in Lua files? Mine takes forever. Yeah, mine does. It would be very easy to port a VS Code theme over. Once I finish up this Rust plugin, it'll be very easy. When you chain functions with dot notation with iterators and hover on functions themselves, you will most of the time only get generic types and pop-up. Oh yeah, to get the actual types of each subsequent chain, you need to press LSP hover on the dot. Oh. That's interesting. Well, thank you for that. There is an Alacrity version, yeah. Would be great to make a course, by the way. I'd like to know what I need to get something like Elvin beyond language programming. Will be great if you make a course. By the way, I'd like to know what I need to do something like Elvin beyond language programming. What do you mean beyond language programming? It would be nice to have spacers in the buffer plugin. I don't know exactly how it would be separated, but you often have groups of buffers are used together. I think there is a thing for that. I just don't know what it is. Question, with LunarVim, what folder files should be included in backup sync tools? Like, the only thing that you're going to need across LunarVim installations is, where can I do this? Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. The only thing that you'll bring with you is config Elvim. So that's it. So you just need to bring, and then there's a everything inside of that, right? So everything you keep inside of this directory, that's the only thing you'll need to get a reproducible LunarVim config. That's it. You don't need anything else. Now, when I go and change LunarVim, things might change a little bit and the contracts may be broken. But LunarVim 1.0 will be one thing, and then LunarVim 2.0 will break things. Elvim has a lot built in, so not much setup required unless you want extra sugar in your workflow. Yeah. Shouldn't you be having curly underlines if you're on Kitty, by the way? No, because my color scheme doesn't support it. right? So the thing that I do to generate color schemes doesn't support undercurls, right? It just does like underlines or something like that. So I need to write something for that. MVim DAC configuration is fun when it works. It just feels fantastic. Yeah, I know. Did you get inlay hints to be enabled? I'm using Rust tools, and they've only come up for me if I manually run the required command for them. Not working when I have it in my MVim config. You can go to my config, like my actual config, wherever that is. I don't know why I hide my config, but I do, and it's here, and it's in NVim. Okay, so what am I doing? Let me think. Oh yeah, so Lua user LSP, and then I have special settings for Rust, and these are the settings that I have. So hopefully these work for you. Maybe if you try it with my settings, maybe it will work. Hey Christina in chat. Well, thanks for that. How do you port VS Code themes? I've yet to figure out how. Maybe a stream another time. When I finish this, yeah, you'll be able to port any theme you want. As soon as I finish this color scheme generator, you won't even have to think about it. You're just gonna go grab the highlights and just boom, 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 and it'll be done. Is loading telescope slow for your NVim config, as in pressing space telescope appears after 2-3 seconds? No, it shouldn't be, right? So if I press space, it takes a second for which key to show up, but that's because I want it to. If I press control space, it shows up immediately. But if I press space FF, telescope comes up immediately. Yeah. Why do you want the DApp UI so blatantly? Isn't the spirit of Vim and minimalist software is to keep key bindings for everything and not bloat your screen with useless UI? Yeah, but to me, first of all, I would like to know how to start it separately. So maybe I would want to know how to just start it separately without it. But you can write hooks that make it show up immediately. I think it's pretty useful to have it because I like to see some of the output on the sides. Now, if you don't want that, you don't need it, right? So you don't have to do that. But let me see. So let me NVim DApp UI. Let's see if we can suss out some of this stuff. Oh, this thing here? Here we go. I probably have this set up somewhere. Let's see here. Let me grab this. And let's go back over to this, and let's do space DC. No, that's not going to work. Space LL. And we got to figure out why that doesn't work. Click debug. All right, now we're debugging. Then we enter this. I did something stupid. Yep. Where's my DApp UI? It should have showed up, but it didn't. I don't know why it doesn't show up. I'm going to have to suss that out. Your theme is great. Yeah, it's basically... So I grabbed the background color from MV Chad, and then I took regular one dark theme, and then I muted all the colors a little bit, so I just took them all like down by, like I just like muted the hex colors a little bit, and yeah, that was basically all I did, and that's what works for me. Now I also changed a couple other things. Like I like a little bit more minimalism. Like I don't like colored. I also made like if you notice, the dots and the equal signs and stuff, they're a little bit darker than the actual variable names and colors. So that was another thing I did. Thanks, your config is wonderful. You had a playlist on this. If I'm not wrong, going to watch it tomorrow. Great work, Chris. Yeah, Neovim from scratch will probably be the thing that gets you closest to that. But there's also, again, there's some bugs and things there. To be fair, I think, yeah, I know. I recognize it. I'm just like, yeah, I feel like I've made this line before. I like this part here, the UI top. You know what? It's probably actually here. Watch, space, D, and yeah, U for UI. But nothing shows up. How come? I don't know. That's what we're going to have to figure out. Which font am I using? JetBrains Mono. Is it even installed? Yeah, it should be, or else that would have errored out. You can have DAP hover, something analogous to LSP hover, where you can press on variables and get their values, so you have a REPL buffer to check them and evaluate expressions with them. Yeah. What's left? Well, I just want the DAP UI to show up. That's kind of like, that's just what I want, right? And I will get it. Just have to figure out how to do it. Now this is the configuration. I already have the configuration working and all these things. Why won't it open though? I wonder if I open it like pre-doing the thing. So like if I do like this. Okay. Oh wait, no, never mind. Guess because I didn't put Lua first. Lua. Yeah, okay. So now let's do space DC, and yeah, it's over. So now we'll do space DU. It doesn't open. No. Space DU. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Well, let's suss that out then. It can't be that hard to figure it out. Are you sure you're setting it up or something? What's the hardest? We'll get into that in a second. You get the UI, no problem. All right. There's got to be something I'm doing incorrectly then. So here's where I'm setting up the DAP UI. Here's what we can do. We can do like a print statement here to say like DAP UI not loaded, just to see if there's some error happening there, which I doubt. Yeah. Okay, we got all that. Okay. And now, yeah, we should have got a message if it wasn't going to work, right? Because if I, for instance, did something like this, right? Whoops. See how it says DAP UI not loaded? That's because I messed up the package. So we know we're loading DAP UI correctly and that we have it available to us. Now, this is the setup. And then I have these things. That should work. Maybe I'll just try like a clean setup. So if we go like this, comment that out. And we'll just do DAP UI dot setup like that. And then we'll try it again. Oh, yeah, it's definitely something in my config that screwed it up. Let's see if it actually auto... Oh, here we go. Now I'm going to be stuck in this hell. All right. Adder. Okay. It's definitely something with my config that screws it up. So let's see, does it start automatically once I like jump into debugging? So if I do space LL here, and then if I do, well, no, never mind. I need to debug statements. We'll do space DB, space DB. Okay. And now we'll do space LL. We'll do debug. Oh yeah, it does show up automatically. Well, there you go. That's what it is. Now, another thing that I need to do. You can see this DAP scopes thing, DAP breakpoint, blah, 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 blah. This, all that stuff is from WinBar, starting in these. So I need to get the file type, so I can just do like echo, and FT. And that's DAP, oh shit, of course. It's gonna be like DAP UI, like scopes, DAP UI breakpoints. I hope I could just do like DAP UI star and that'll just like ignore it all. All right, so yeah, we're gonna get DAP working in this stream. It's gonna work good, and everything's gonna be nice. What's the hardest program you've ever written? I don't know, probably something at work, but it was probably also when I didn't have an advanced knowledge of Java and microservices and stuff like that. So one of the hardest things I probably ever made was like an end-to-end production ready, i.e. like thousands of customers are going to be using my software and in production, and if it breaks, then Comcast will be mad at me for lots of reasons. you know, software like that is probably the hardest stuff that I initially started writing, because you have to do everything like by the book, right? Like you got to do like a bunch of tests. You got it like when I first started like actually writing enterprise software. Now I could write shit like that and I don't even care, right? But before, when I first started that, it's like, you know, all your logging has to be correct. All of, you know, Java, like when you're first learning Java and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of difficult. Spring was kind of difficult when I first learned it. So probably something in that space, like going end to end for a production ready, like feature, I guess. Maybe you just forgot some. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to like reconfigure it, I guess. Is it normal to have multiple active LSP clients just because you have been going over multiple files and creates a new client for each buffer? No, that's not normal. Why are we doing this all in terminal versus Neovim UI client? Because I don't know any good Neovim UI clients, and honestly, terminals, I don't know, works for me. And the only reason I'd want to use a Neovim UI client is if it could show me pictures, like images. Every single Neovim UI client, I look at it and I'm just like, why does this exist? What's even the point? Besides some other fancy, flashy things. Attempt to call field format, null value before. Yeah, that's because you're using a different version of Neovim. So you should be using 0.8 if you want format to work. What you're likely looking for is LSP formatting or something like that. So yeah, you're using the wrong version of Neovim for the type of format that you're trying to do. So that is nice. Your UI comes up automatically. Mine doesn't. Yeah, you can set that. I have. That's kind of easy. You tried learning brain? No, I've never tried learning that. Have you tried Neovite? Yeah, but it doesn't show pictures. So like, why do I care? You know. It's cool. It certainly is nice. It's smooth. I guess it's GPU accelerated. It's written in Rust. It's, you know, it's got some good qualities and all. But like, I just feel like if it's gonna be like a UI thing, like it's gonna be a GUI. Like the whole reason that I would want a Neovim GUI is to render things like PDFs or render things like images. Like that's what I want the GUI for. Yeah, I don't know. That's like, that would be the whole reason. All right, so we got this working now, and so what I'm going to do now is I want it to look like the way that it was before. Oh, I know that. I know I can, okay. I know I can show images. So, for instance, where do I have an image? In my website. So we can go to, and then chrisatmachine.com, right? And then if I don't know, I'll just open up anything. Doesn't really matter. And we'll do space search for, no, it's not search, space find, and then what is it, media? Oh, there's none? There should be some. Oh, I know why, because I am filtering out all images with Telescope now. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. Let me go fix that. Telescope. Lua. Okay, here we go. So I only want to filter this stuff out sometimes. Let's get rid of that. Because I did that pretty recently. And then if we go here, and now if we go and look for an image, see? I can see image. Well, it's a little like they're stacking, so that's not good. I don't know why that is. But yeah. So like, it's possible to see images in Neovim, but it is not a good experience, right? All right. And now my face is permanently trapped on that terminal. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know why that's, you know, maybe I need to update Uberzug or something like that, but anyway. It's a plugin for Kitty that can do images through Kitty's API, but Neovim itself don't do virtual lines to pad for those images, so UI editor won't help. I mean, plugin that literally inlines images in your text and scrolls them through. That would be nice. Yeah, that would be cool. I just feel like, I don't know, you can do images on the terminal. It's like not that hard. I don't know why people just don't. Yeah. I'm gonna use that. Keep your fate firmly trapped forever on mine. All right. Yeah. Yeah, just keep that like right on the side there. Yeah, images are just hacky right now in Neovim, so I just use other tools typically if I'm going to be doing something like that. It just is what it is, right? For now. I mean, I'm not giving up like the speed at which I can edit text for like being able to see images sometimes, which is useful sometimes in web development, but not always. Okay, so now let's kind of suss out what I have wrong here. And then also, we're going to have to go to WinBar, and we're going to have to get rid of all the DAP UI stuff. So let me go take a look. WinBar. All right, so here's the file types that I exclude in WinBar. Now let's try this first. I don't think this is going to work. If I put like a star. Right? And also, I need a comma. That's not a comma. Okay, so now we're going to do space D U to get rid of the DAP UI. Now we'll reopen this. I think one problem that we will have, though, is that I redid this again. So I need to do that and do that. Okay, so now we got our test here. And now we're going to do space LL. We're going to, wait, we need debug points. Space DB, and then we'll do space LL. And now we'll do, and I'm just opening up code lens with that. That's all I'm doing. I'm just saying that out loud as if you know what my bindings are. But we'll do debug. And no, it didn't get that. So we're going to need to get all of these windows and we're going to need to ignore them. That's just unfortunate nature of what we have to do right now. Images on terminal is hard because it's not standardized, which Creative Contour Terminal has proposed to try and make a standardization of how to handle images in the terminal. It would be nice, but open source software development never, it's never that easy. Do inlay hints take a long time for you to load? I copied your Rust config and it's taken 5 seconds for it to load for some reason. I will attempt to figure out why. No, well, maybe, yeah. I mean, they have to wait until the LSP starts, so you have to wait till the language server starts. Yeah, I would love it for it to be a standard, but I feel like it won't be for a while. Maybe when Wayland becomes kind of like more of the standard, then maybe it'll be like a shake-up big enough to where, I don't know. Envim tree makes saving file lag for me. I don't think I've ever noticed that. I've never noticed that personally, I guess. All right, so we're going to go through. We're going to find out every single one of these stupid freaking file types. All right, we got our scopes and all that. And then we're going to exclude them from WinBar so that WinBar can't annoy me there. Another plugin I've been using lately, too, is Harpoon. So, for instance, right now, like, okay, you see all these buffers are open, right? But in my Harpoon UI, there's only these two, and they save across, like, things. So, like, I'm going to get rid of them, right? And now I'm going to do MM. So now in Harpoon, this one is the only one there, right? And now I still have all these other buffers open. But now if I go and I find WinBar, and then I do MM there too, I could do M this. And now these are the only two things that will show up here. So even though I have a bunch of other cluttered buffers open or whatever else, I can use this to kind of like, and maybe I still want those buffers open, but like these are the two files that I kind of want to move back and forth between right now. Then I can do that with, 1 second, it'll be M, I'm still getting used to this, M this and M that, comma and dot. That's how I'm kind of moving between them. So yeah. Now let's swap this out for, damn it, let's swap this out for scopes, and then that's DAP UI scopes. Now we'll move down one. Breakpoints. Break points. Down one again. I mean, it's probably just stacks, right? Like we should. Yeah. Okay. It's stacks and then watches and then. Well, let's be sure, because things have burned me before.
Stacks.
and then watches. Yep, and now let's go over here and check this one, the DAP REPL. DAP REPL, like that. And that should do it. So now what we'll do is we will do space DU, get rid of all that, and then we'll reopen it and test it out. Ask it. Fire away. I don't mind I mean, I'm probably going to do more streams where I just answer questions and go and set things up and do things. I will, at some point during the stream, actually go and try and finish this Rust program, though. Alright, space LL, yeah. And wait, we need some debug points. Space DB, yeah. Alright, now, all of those things have disappeared, and it's a little prettier now. So that's good. But not good enough. You. Now we need to figure out how to get rid of the ones that I don't want, and I also wanted everything over to the right. So I could do space this and jump back. Oh wait, this is WinBar. Yeah. And we're just gonna do this, but let's see if we can just grab some of the pieces. So let's get rid of mappings. Let's get rid of icons. Now we have this layouts thing. Well, you know what we'll do? We'll just go and grab the stuff that's on his thing, and then we'll try that. That must be a difficult question. In Unbreakable IDE streams, you pin the plugins with commit hashes. Packer recently got Packer Snapshot update that lets you take a snapshot instead of doing it manually. Maybe it would be helpful. Yeah, that probably would be very helpful instead of me going to every single freaking... Yeah, that would be... You know what? I knew about that too, but I just don't know how easy it is or hard it is to use. So maybe I'll look into that. Why to the right if you have vert splits? I like it on the right, and I'll tell you why I like it on the right, because sometimes I'll open up my tree thing to look at something, and then it's too much. So that's why I want all that stuff on the right. You think it might be a path issue? Okay, see? Alright, so instead of asking the question, we're gonna go through the whole investigative experience. So, got an MVim issue question. Might be a path issue. Alright. So I'm building context. What plugin are you using for switching buffers? 2 right now. One is this one is my own, which really is just like a hacky fork of Jabs right now, which I hope one day to not be a hacky fork. I hope it to be its own kind of standalone thing at some point. So that's that one. And then Harpoon for going between ones that that I've marked, right? So now I can leave all of them open here, but then I can do this to go between the ones that I've marked. And now I don't need any stupid buffer line thing at the top, because that really just kind of gets them. I just find that so hideous. I don't know. Okay, it's on GitHub. Oh, it's on GitHub. Okay, issues Fedora. All right, yeah. Let me. Is it on my? 1 second. I'll take a look. I don't know. 1 second. Let me go back to my profile here, and then we'll go to Lunarvim organization. These logos, by the way, are very handsome. And what was the guy's name who made them for me? It's been so long since I had him make those. But yeah, now I forget who he is, but he had like a lizard as his profile picture, and I need him to make more logos for me for more things. I just have to figure out how to get back in contact with him. Issues. Is it here? I don't know. Yeah, definitely get rid of buffer line. You don't need buffer line. Dude, it's just anxiety inducing. It's like, how many buffers do you have? It's so cluttered, and it's horrible. This is so much cleaner. I have no idea. When you want to switch between buffers, just use something like this and switch between buffers. That's when you want to see your buffers. But you don't want to like always be seeing your buffers. Because that also leads you to doing things like this, where you use something like Saibu and you just move between all of the buffers until you find the one you want. And that's just like, when you have like a million of them open, that's just like a stressful experience. Now, if I do have that, then Saibu pops up over there and it kind of shows me, right, what I have available. So maybe if you have like 3 things, that's fine. But typically, wouldn't it be so much like less stress if you just had this, where you can just go, okay, these are the open ones, and you press enter, and that's it. And then you're like, okay, I don't want to close all my buffers, so you use something like Harpoon, where you just mark the ones that you want to swap between, and you can just do this, right? So that's what I like to do. How's it going, Shan? Hello? LunarVim issues Fedora. Oh, okay, it's under LunarVim. Issues. I do plan to do a stream fixing Fedora, or not Fedora, LunarVim and stuff. User options not found. If you're on rolling, make sure you're on the newest version of Neovim. Yeah, try to get on 0.8, maybe. Rebuilt is one of the maintainers, and I trust his judgment on this. There's no need for buffer line. And, okay, here's the other thing for buffer line. You might be thinking, like, okay, but the other thing the buffer line gives me is it gives me tabs, right? But, let me show you. You can just put that in the win bar too, right? So now I'm on tab 5 out of 5. And if I do GT, I'm on 1 out of 5, right? 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, whatever, right? And so then you can always just, you know, swap out your tabs that way. And you can still see what tab you're on. You could also put this in the status line if you wanted to, right? I just keep it up there because whatever reason. My own BFS thing, but you could just use jabs until I one day suss out how to make that better. And then I recommend jabs for most people. Mine's still broken. And let's see. LunarVim issues 2822. Yeah, I got there. All right, thank you. Let's see. How's it going, Rem? Rem is the guy who's been, actually, if someone asks like how I learned Rust as fast as I did, and Rem is one of the people. Him and Slavko have been teaching me Rust over these streams. What do I use for go-to definition? GD. So I just, like, I'll be on top of something, and then, I don't know, like, where can I go to definition here? I don't know, like, require, I guess. Just GD, boom. And then you do Control-O to go back, and then Control-I to go back in. Right, so Control-O is out, Control-I is in, it'll take you through the jump list, and then GD is out, and then whatever, that's pretty much it. We're getting debugging working today. That's what I think today's stream is going to be about. I think I'm going to leave these streams to be a little bit more open-ended, so my ADHD can just kind of guide me through what I feel like doing in a stream. Yeah, try to upgrade Neovim, try to use 0.8. I mean, key mapping, for some reason, I can't find a way to list key mappings with your config. Yeah, you can. Just wait 1 second, right? Just, like, go over here, press space, wait 1 second. And then if you want them right away, control space. And there you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. And then you kind of like swap between them, and you kind of just, you're kind of cycling, and you have like 20 tabs open. And again, dude, I feel stress showing up in my face and in my eyes as I'm even thinking about that process. I hate that process. I hate that. All text editors are incorrect. And the best way to do tabs is to have a dedicated thing. Well, right now it's not going to work for me. This is buggy, but if this wasn't so buggy, this would be the best way to do it, right? This would easily be the best way to do it. Would just be to show the tabs like this, or not, well, tabs, buffers, whatever, files that are open, and then you choose the one that you want. Because up there, they just... you can only show like 5 at a given time, or maybe like 10 or something, right? But you're not going to see all of them. And then I guess you can click on them, whatever, but you could do a similar thing. Mine doesn't click. I could probably actually have clicking working in here if I wanted to, but why would you, right? So, yeah. Anyway. And then ones that you mark, again, something like Harpoon works for that. But I think you could, like, build this into Harpoon. Like, you could build that buffer switcher into something. You could, like, mesh Harpoon and that buffer switcher, and then you could just go, like, ones you've marked versus all buffers that are open. And I think that would be best. Fedora's missing user local share. I don't know. I don't think that matters, though. List of all key... I don't really have anything like that in my config. You just kind of have to... I mean, the only thing you can really do is something like telescope and then keys. And then, like, search for the key that you are confused about, right? So, like, maybe, like, your, I don't know, Control-H. I don't know why Control-F is the... Maybe if I do, like, C-H, like, all caps. Do I not have this bound anywhere? All right, we'll look for F. Sure. There you go. And so there... That's... I mean, it'll actually run the key binding. But, like, you can see, like, I guess what something is bound to just by looking for it in Telescope, I guess. Oh, we can use Telescope to traverse through open tabs. Yeah, you actually can do that. Telescope works for that as well. I mean, depending on what you mean by tabs, but you can use Telescope buffers, and that's another way. This is another great way to do buffers. But there's no concept of marking them, and that's what Harpoon provides, is this idea of, like, you mark the ones that you want to quickly switch between, and those are the ones you quickly switch between. Right, so me swapping between these is very simple. And all the other buffers aren't going to show up as I'm swapping between them. And if I want to see the whole list, I can do this. And if I want to get rid of one, I can just, you know, DD it, and then that's it. And it saves for the project, so next time you open it up, it'll be there. Why this ad hoc UI for buffers but not reuse Telescope? The reason I don't use Telescope is because of the added okay, it's a small reason. One second, I think my plugin broke hard enough to where, yeah. So let me come back in here, but it's a small reason. But basically, let's just open up a couple things. It's a small reason, but like, okay. I'm in here doing this, and I'm using J and K, and if I want to delete something, I just press D, right? But if I'm using Telescope buffers, and I like Telescope for looking for most things. Like, Telescope is, I use it for, like, a lot of things. But for buffers, it's okay. Now, okay, you could change this, like, screen. You can make it look more like how I have Telescope files. What is it? Find files, but for me it's this. So I could make the buffer switching look something like this, but then I still have to do Control J and K to swap between them, and then I have to do like Control D to delete them. And this is easier for me to just press J and K when I get in here and just do D and to delete something. So yeah, I don't know, that's the reason. How do I get the latest version of Neovim? Go check out the... I have like a guide. Actually, I have a guide. Wait. Check out my blog. Here you go. Wait a second. I did a whole thing on this. Neovim, different installation methods, pros and cons. Here you go. This is every single way to install Neovim. Well, most ways, anyway. Lags only for me too. Am I lagging right now? Literally just learned about quit all. You can just do QA too. I know about these things and I still don't use them sometimes. quits out of all splits. So nice. Yeah. Can we make GUI apps using Rust? Yes, you can. You can do that. Look, there's something called Tari, but I don't know if I necessarily recommend it. I don't know how Neovim creates its GUI, but maybe something like that. Yeah, there's certainly ways to do it. Good evening, Martin. Slavka, you can implement your own telescope buffer thing, and it would be 500 billion times more minimal than that. And telescope does have normal mode. Don't know what you're talking about with Control J and K. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I guess what I wanted to do. Maybe I just haven't looked hard enough into Telescope. What I wanted to do is be similar to this, but I want the find files thing to. I want the search, the input thing to go away, like no input, and then I want. I guess I want it to only open in normal mode. But right now, I don't open Telescope in normal mode. I open it automatically in insert mode, and I don't even allow normal mode, so that I can easily just press escape and get out of it, instead of having to tap escape twice. I don't know. Anyway, this is just... Sometimes you get bored and you just want to write a plugin anyway. How do you get into your buffer plugin? Space B. But it's very buggy, and I don't recommend using it. Can't you use Telescope buffers and start it in normal mode? Probably. I'll try that out. What's the best way to use Neovim in Windows? Probably WSL, but an even better way is to just uninstall Windows and install something else. Like Linux, for instance. So, yeah. Anyway, we did that. We got our adder thing here. We got this. Where are we right now? What kind of buffers do I have open? Let's do this, and let's just look for... we're looking for DAP. This is another thing about the tree sitter thing with Lua, is sometimes it just completely screws itself. DAP. 1 second. That didn't work as well as I kind of hoped. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go through, and oh yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to go and just find this from the NVim DAP. I'm going to like recopy this, and then hopefully it works. Okay, we got rid of that. And then what is this one here? This is the other one. Okay, so this is now that. Wait, actually, let me keep this, because I want to see what I did with it. Okay, so I want to see what I did with it, so that I can kind of go through. Now I know that I want the position to be on the right, and elements are, what do we got? REPL and console, and then we got stacks, watches, breakpoints. What did I usually use? Okay, this is probably it. But also it looks like you can change the size, I guess. I just wanted the breakpoints. I got rid of the stacks and the watches. For now. That's just kind of like, it's just a little cleaner for when it automatically pops up. I guess if I want to open them, I still can. Hi, do you know if there's a way to put the command line above the status? No, there's not. But you can set CMD height equal to 0, and then you can have none, and then only pop it up when you want it. But this has led to a lot of annoying things for me, so I usually keep it at 1. until that enter thing goes away. Like watch this. If I do space, and then like open my witch key thing, and then I press escape, it's like press enter type command to continue, you know, and that's very annoying. So I just set it at 1, just because it's just not there yet, in my opinion. Look into Hydra. Hydra seems like something you might be after. Your computer's infected with a dangerous virus called Windows. It truly is. Based, yeah. At least doable, yeah. What is the window manager? Is it i3? Nah, DWM. I'll never use i3 because it's not dynamic. It's manual. Manual tiling is pain once you've used dynamic tiling. Best way to get into Linux, install it in either a VM or on an old machine and just try to, I don't know, just maybe install like a window manager in Arch Linux. You'll learn a lot and you'll fail a lot. Anyone tried mounting remote file system? I mean mount Google Drive to your swap partition? No. Yeah, but probably rclone might work for something like that. Alright, so now we got this. Now let's reopen this up and let's see what we got going here. So now we got our tests. We're gonna do space LL to, nope, I always forget I gotta put a debug point. Let me instead, let me print, instead of hi, I'm gonna print A, just to get rid of that. And what's your problem? Okay. Whatever. Space DB. Okay. Now we'll do space LL, debug. Alright. And there we go. So it must have been just something that changed recently with that. But yeah, this is pretty good. And now we'll do space DC to continue. And now you can see too, up here, well, that's a little odd, but if we go like this, I don't know why it does that. I guess it's just because it's so long in Rust. There's just not much you can really do. But these are like things about it. Okay. Yeah. Basically, you can just see that A is a string and its memory address. That's kind of, in my opinion, the most important thing right now. And then I guess just how it's kind of constructed under the hood here. And then you can also see down here where we actually have breakpoints. So we have one on 6 and one on 8. I was kind of hoping if I press enter on these, it just takes me to that line, but it seems to not do that. Now we'll do space DC again, and it finishes it, it exits, and then if we go to, oops, if we go to this, you can see this thing here, our output. Maybe I should do a special WinBar for this. I don't know. Just so it says something at the top. Because it doesn't have a file name. How did you select everything around the setup function? Was that custom text object? No. That's just basic Vim stuff. So like if you go here, we'll go into visual mode, and then I just press the % key. And it'll just grab me the entire context. So yeah, that's how you do that. I think we can pretty safely get rid of this stuff now. And my new dap stuff will work, so let's get rid of that. Maybe I'll get Java working later too. And what is that comment? I don't care. Plugins, yep. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Let's just add the dap stuff. Wait. Hold up. I think I can go through here and stage just a couple things. So we'll do this and that. Yeah. And now I can press escape and go back in here. And then we'll commit this. And we'll say up updated DAP working again. There we go. Show images with telescope. Yeah, that should work. Push that up. I don't know if this actually pushed that up though. I don't know if that actually worked because I don't think I committed that. I don't know. Whatever. I don't really care. Seriously? Do you use some kind of notification manager? Yeah, in Vim, in Neovim, I use Vim Notify. Something you wanted. Okay, let's see. Telescope pull 442 files. Let me, I'll just go to Nvim Telescope. Nvim Telescope. They have a 0.1 release now too, by the way. Which is basically a 1.0 release in Zerover land. What was it? Pull request? What was it? 442? I gotta like look it up. I just like type that in. That's 443. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I guess you can choose between initial mode. I mean, I already have that working, but I guess maybe you can choose like actually passing it to an option. Yeah, initial mode. So I guess when I start it up, I can just say initial mode, and when I instantiate the picker. Harpoon is telescope based. You can add telescope to Harpoon. So I think I have that working. So if you do space, MS, you can kind of go through Harpoon marks with telescope. What's WinBar, by the way? WinBar is a new feature in 0.8, and basically what it does is you can see, okay, so the best way to show this is with multiple splits. So if we open up another split here, and then maybe I'll open up another split under it. Okay, so now we have a bunch of different splits. Let's move to a different file here, then let's move to some other file, I don't know. We'll open up, not the README, because Markdown seems to be a little screwed up right now. We'll move to some other file, sure, this one. Okay, so now you can see that I'm in 3 different splits, and they all have different WinBar titles, right? So now I don't need like the buffer line to tell me what context I'm in or what the file name is for something, whatever. WinBar just does that for me. Right? Now, the other cool thing about WinBar is that per each one, we can start to use something like Nvim Navic, and then we can do something like this, right? And that's pretty cool, because then you can see what context you're in. So like here now, I'm in DAP, floating, max window, whatever, and then like here, let me go to another more complicated one. We'll go to this, we'll go to handlers. And you can start to see like I'm in a function, and now I'm in a variable called signs in the function, and then inside that variable called signs in the function, I'm inside a property called name, right? And now I'm in a property called text. So this is something that is pretty cool about WinBar. I really like WinBar. It's one of my favorite new features. If you tried Vim Fugitive or NeoGit, nah, I just use LazyGit. It's easier for me. So if you're at an opening bracket, yep. I was not talking about Neovim, I was talking about Arch as a whole. Oh, yeah, I used Dunst for that. Dunst. If you want to select everything inside an enclosing pair, blah, 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 you could do that with VI. If you want to, If you want to pick up the surrounding bracket, you can do that. Yeah, maybe I should be doing that. I actually, but does the insert menu show up? I don't know. When I'm doing that, I just would like less clutter, and I don't want to see the insert little thing at the top there. Did you build Neovim 0.8 or get it from the AUR? I always build it from scratch. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, right? That's one of my favorite new features. What OS am I using? Arch Linux. Because I don't have the energy to move over to something like Artix. Maybe I will do that at some point. I'm so tired of swapping between things, though. The next time that I change my window manager is when I'm gonna move to Wayland, and when I've officially moved over to Wayland, that'll be the next time I change like my window manager, and maybe I'll change my operating system over to Artix at that point. Maybe we'll see. And I'm never changing from Neovim, or at least as far as I can see. Option equals normal, because then I have more time to like not care about that shit and learn new languages and new skills and things like that that are actually useful, rather than me just racing some desktop environment situation, you know. Recently download Arch from scratch. You installed Arch from scratch? Yeah, I want that. I definitely want that. But I also don't want the input box. Yeah, initial mode option equals normal. Okay. I tried to install Arch Linux on VirtualBox and failed a lot, even if I followed some tutorials from YouTube. Yeah, it can be a little difficult, I guess, but I don't know. So if you do mode option, is that what it's called, mode option? Or is it just initial mode? So like, for instance, if I go to this, and then let's just, we'll do like that and like that. Okay, and if I look for which key, and we'll look for, well, it should just be here. It should be one of the first ones that shows up. Oh wait, no, it'll be under telescope stuff. I guess it has to be. No. Search. Find. Files. There we go. So these are the things you can do, and then this is the stuff you can pass it. So then I would pass it initial. Well, let's just start a new one, because I don't necessarily want. I want to be, when finding files, I want that. But like if I do space, we'll just swap out B up here, the one that I'm using. No, that's in that. Mappings. B is this. Okay, and now I'll just do buffers, get drop down, and then I'm gonna do initial mode is equal to normal, but I'm also gonna need some of these guys. And actually, let's do this. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Now if I do this, okay, so now I'm in normal mode, and that's pretty good. But what I want now is I want to get rid of this thing. And now I'm trapped in here. Okay. Well, we'll get something working for that. Tried using Tmux. I don't plan to use Tmux. What was the breadcrumbs plugin? That is Envim Navic, but it's also a lot of my own nonsense added to it to get it to work in WinBar. So, yeah. you basically just want my WinBar file, and then you need to have mvim navic installed, and then you need to attach mvim navic when you set up your LSP, so that your language server can do all that stuff for you. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably should be using this until it gets fixed, or until my other thing gets fixed. I should probably just use this by default. So let me go and look for telescope, because I need normal mode things that make sense. So this JK blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, that all does what I expect it to do. But I need Q to quit, so yeah, this guy. And then we'll just do change enter this, and we'll do Q, will be actions.close. Yeah. That should basically be it, I think. And then if we go back to here now and do this, if I do this and I press Q, it gets rid of it. Yeah. If I go into insert mode, I can look for something, and then I get out of there. Okay. Yeah, it's probably about as good as I probably can get it right now. Let's do telescope updates. We'll just commit this to plugin updates, whatever. How timely do you rebuild Neovim? I don't know, not that often. Only if I like see there's been like a big bug fix or something like that. Probably I'll probably do it like once a week or something like that. I don't know. If you're using, but I use Neovim like all the time. You know what I mean? Like that's why I build it from source, because it's like my #1 tool. So I use it all the time. So that's the only reason I treat it differently than like every single other package that I have installed. Yes, that is true. You're exactly right. So if I go, we'll go in config pycom. There you go. Opacity rule 100% for NVIM. Yes. And then for something like Kitty, I make it 90, so when I get out of NVIM, you can kind of see through a little bit. It's kind of aesthetic, I guess. Hello, Shen, again. I've had tons of problems with Arch. The one I have stable running with VM currently is Debian. Yeah, Debian's nice. Arch doesn't really give me that many problems. I also use Neovim all the time. VS Code. Yeah, just VS Code. I can't use it really anymore. It's just, I'm too slow. Yeah, I'm too slow in VS Code anymore. I just feel like I'm so gimped whenever I'm using it. I don't understand your WinBar config file, to be honest. It's complicated a little bit, but if I explain it, maybe it'll help. WinBar. Okay. So, you know, it's just a module, and I just have this thing up here. It just says, like, these are the file types that I'm going to exclude from WinBar, so they're not going to work. Here's a function that gets the file name. That's all it does. And adds some extra icons and stuff like that to it. Then I have this one that says get GPS. Now, honestly, GPS should really probably be Navic now, like that, I think. As long as that doesn't really screw anything up. I don't know what. Hold us. And then if I do global, yeah. So, like, that's probably what it should be, and that would make more sense. I hope. And then we have get. But the problem is, if I want to swap between them, Well, it's probably still okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna swap that out now. So we got that again. Now, okay, so now this one gets Navic and just adds icons and stuff like that. And this one here is just an excludes function. So if it doesn't exclude, if that file type isn't found in this list, then actually go ahead and do something with the WinBar. And yeah, the rest of it's just kind of like just business logic to get it to work. I don't know. I can't really go through line by line. Like mod, for instance, will be like adding like, okay, see that little dot right there? That's what this function does, is it just adds it to the end. Like you can see what's happening here. The value is everything that's already in WinBar, and then I add mod to it. And that's basically it. So, I mean, that's kind of what's going on here. The other thing that you'll need to do, and then this is just some stuff for tabs down here. You can ignore it if you don't want it. And then the other stuff that you'll have to do is go to, I don't know why I'm going to it that way. If we look for LSP, and if we go to handlers, and we look for Navic, dude, the tree sitter Lua thing, it's trash. And then you have to set it up here, and then you can attach it on your onAttach function. So here's my onAttach that I use for all my LSPs. I just attach Navic to the client and the buffer number. And that's basically it. I have an article about this. It's not necessarily better. It's just a thing that I personally do. Also, I like to be able to change some of the code in the code base sometimes just to play around with things, like in the runtime. Hey Chris, when are we going to get started with the color scheme generator? Soon. PyCom trick is illegal, yeah. Yeah, it's nice, right? Yep. It's a little hard. You can't just do it without a couple other changes, but you can get pretty close. Oh yeah, and then I also have an auto command. You have to go under the auto commands and look what I'm doing for that too. I tried lazy loading, but it did not work on Neovim LSP. I don't really lazy load. Yeah. Yep. Am I working on Navic? No, I have one PR that's out for Navic that I hope that he merges, because there is like a weird state that you can find yourself in with a nil check that's not there. Yeah. Alright, so maybe now, since we got the debugging working, we did get debugging working, I got my new way to go through buffers now, this is probably fine for now. So like if I like open up another buffer and then I go like this, I can kind of move between them pretty easily. And wait a second, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So it's just not exactly what I want, and it's important that I get exactly what I want. You know what I mean? So now we can go and take a look at this color generator, and this is going to be the not, you know. Let's see. The not as easy to do code. Let's open up. I was just playing around with my config. But so far where we're at is I can generate a color scheme about this far. I can make this init file and I can make this palette file. Now I think I'm just going to put all of the color scheme options in one more file, and then that's basically it. It will generate a color scheme for you, and then I can just work on the CLI components of it. And nothing really to add after that. Now, for this, I changed some of the code since my last stream. So the code in the last stream was like way out of hand, and it was just I needed to sit down quietly, not on stream, and just kind of think about how I was going to do things with Rust. So I have a function here for setting up the directories that just makes the directories for me. I have a function for generating the init file that literally just makes the init file. I have a function for generating the palette, same thing. And now I'm working on this one, which generates the actual color scheme itself. And this is our input right now, which is just hard-coded. Oh, thank you. Let me bookmark this. Serde derive. And again, I don't have a problem with Serde, and maybe I will eventually use it as the way to do things. But for now, I almost have this working. Install tab 9 for completion in big file. It's pretty slow, resource hungry. Do you have the same? It works for me. One thing you can do with tab 9, just really quick. Tab 9 config. Boom. See, and now what you can do is you can go to preferences. And what is this? Oh, you need Pro for that. And there's a way. Oh, this used to be a way you could just swap this out to just cloud. I mean, if you pay for it, then you can probably just use cloud. And yeah, right now it just uses hybrid. But yeah. Tab 9 should just give this to me for free, like how GitHub did for Copilot, and then maybe I can make a video for them or something like that. A couple of days ago, named barbecue.envim that wraps around Navic and does pretty much everything. Oh, nice. Someone put together a repo based off my WinBar. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me check that out. It's probably not based off mine. It's probably his own thing. I think he definitely took inspiration. But yeah, it looks to be basically his own thing. Yeah, he definitely took inspiration because this is my line. But that's okay. That's nice. Maybe I'll end up actually using this. Yeah, exclude file types. He needs to add some things to this. That's neat though. I'm glad someone got some use out of it. Let's go back to chat here. All right. Yeah, if you have a big enough open source project, then it's free. So that's. I mean, I like that about Copilot. I would like it if tab 9 would also give it to me for free. That's the only way I'm going to use advanced completions. All right, so that's how you can do tab 9 configure, and you can find things out. At least you know that. Now, we're in here, and what I want to do is if it's not palette and it's not the information tables, then it's probably a table like highlights. And in that case, let's add another table here. We'll do like LSP. And then we'll do like dark. And these are some of the things here, so I'll do like search orange. And I'll swap all of the BGs for like alt BGs. Like that. And then I'll swap all of the foreground ones. like that. Okay. Now we have another table there. So now what I wanted to do is I wanted to create those and then populate them. So we can start by creating them. Now maybe I could write a more general function that creates these things. I'll probably notice some repeated code, and when I do, I'll do that. Okay, cool. It's nice to get references sometimes. I've had so many people like take my config and then they're like, this is like super awesome, cool Thunder Vim. And then it's like my config with no attribution. And it would be fine if it was like one plugin, but it's like every single one. It's like every single line of code I've ever written for Neovim. Kind of like Kite AI though. I think that only works for Python as far as I know. Alright, so now we're going to go through and right now we're just printing. Let me just like get like my brain kind of sorted out here. So I'm going to run this really quick. And right now, okay, so now we're only printing out LSP and highlight tables. That's basically it. So what we want to do is we want to, I don't know, we want to do something. We need to make files based on the key. So that's kind of the first thing. Now, I think what I want to do if I do like this, and then if I pass V there, then one second, because I had this written out on my laptop when I was screwing around with it. One second. Okay. So then, yeah, I don't think I need to do anything else. So let me see what this does. This hopefully won't end me up in some recursive hell. Okay. Yeah, so now we got string, that, and then mode message, this, that, and the third. Okay. And then we got the LSP, which is still like that. Why is it? Okay. So that's still... Okay, where's highlight? Okay, that's highlights. And... yeah, it does it in alphabetical order. Now... yeah, because I kind of want to get just the keys and make files, but I kind of want to do this all simultaneously. How many times does highlight and LSP print on here? I do LSP once and highlight once. Okay. But the problem is, though, that we still get the other keys. I was kind of hoping I wouldn't. Because then it'll create like files with all of those keys rather than just the highlights, I think. Because that's key and then value and then mode message equals that. How's that printing out? Why is that printing out? Okay, yeah, that would be like the whole thing. Yeah, we don't want that. Well, actually, wait a second. If we do this and we rerun it, and then mode message area. This is the key. And then this is the string that's in that key. which is not what we want, yeah. Because there's a particular kind of key that I want to print out, and then there's a particular kind of key that I don't want to print out. So alright, we're gonna figure it out. I am using Lualine. Never getting an ability to pass stuff directly to print line without string template. Try debug, blah 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 for that. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I did have that issue before. Okay, so let's see here. I just want to make files for the table keys, not the keys that are inside. So if I get rid of this, and then if I get rid of, well, it doesn't matter. That'll never, well, maybe it would get called, but whatever. And then if I rerun this, okay, wait. Yeah, that does what I want. So maybe this will work. And then if I do this again, do I ever see highlight show up twice? No. Okay. Actually, I think this will work. So for if it's a key, we're going to create a file for that key. Now, I have some code to create a file the same way that we're doing this in generate palette. I'll probably just repeat the code and then I'll write a function for it later. So we have file system right. I think the problem is that I'm going to write the file and then I need to pass the data to it. Let's see. Because if I write the file here, I also want to put all of the data in. Now maybe it would be better if I generated that data first. So maybe instead of doing something recursive, because maybe that'll just end up a little bit too confusing, if we make it into one of these tables, we're printing out the key. I know this will let me make files, but then I would have to like ad hoc, like add the data like afterwards, right? And then I need some way to like keep the context as I'm building up this file here. So as table unwrap iter, because this is me going through the palette. Maybe I could make this a little bit more generic. No, probably not, because this one needs specific stuff for the palette thing. And then now if I just print out the keys, now it's going to print out like, whoops, if we go back over here. No. Okay. Well, let's write the files and then we'll kind of go from there. Oh, I can do preserve order. That would be nice. Where can I put preserve order? Enable preserve order feature of Toml. I'll have to look into that. We'll just say it's not Lua. To do look into pre. How do we spell preserve? Preserve order. Okay. Now, all right, we're printing the key, but let's make the file for key. And then we need a way to get this palette data. That shouldn't be that bad, because we can just write a separate function to probably do that. So we'll just like, yeah, we'll grab the key that's passed here, and then we'll do a similar thing for this, and we'll just loop over it that way. And that's probably the best way to do it. So if we have file system right, and so we'll just grab this chunk here. Okay. And then we have name, which right now will be, all right, should we make this better? Like instead of K, this will be table, we'll do a space LR, and we'll do table name, right? Like that. And then instead of name here, we'll do table name. Actually, wait a second. No. We need, okay, wait a second. We need the context of, we need to know what the name is. So we have one darker here. What is this name here? What am I passing now? That's that. Information name. Information name is one darker. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Actually, name is correct. Name is right there. In this case, we want table name. Oops. Okay. Now for data, we're just gonna put something like, this will be table data. And then we'll just say, I think I have something in here. Nah, we'll just say let table data equals string. Well, actually, I could just make it a hard-coded string. ASDF. Okay. So now we're gonna write this home directory. I have to like get this to like get the current directory, but we'll do that later. And then we're going to do this under name, which is the color scheme name, and then in table name.lua. Yes, I think that's what we want to do. So let's run that. And let's come over here and see if it worked. Yes, it did. Okay, so that's how we're going to make all the stuff. We can make the files now. That's good. That's pretty good. All right, and there's ASDF written to the file. So now we have to populate that somehow. We have to actually put what we want in there correctly. But wait a second. Okay, this does it in such a way to where I can make it in multiple files. Now, I also was toying around with the idea in my head of only making it one file. And then the keys, in this case, I could just put as comments over top. So I could technically just write another simple function and then write to the same file every single time, and then just use this key and a comment value. And then I don't have to do anything weird. I can only write, I only have to write the entire time. And that might actually be easier. In this case, I don't know about this. So when you're not specifying preserve order feature, it's literally not going to compile into the Toml library. I don't know. Anyway, well, we'll look into that in a little bit. So, yeah, here's another way. Instead of doing that, one sec. I wanted to look up. I've been using this color scheme as a template for this. It was, I think it was the VS Code one, because it was just a very simple implementation. Was that it? No. No. I might have been his. I think it was his. Yes. Yeah, so this is a pretty simple implementation, because then there's only one theme file, and then what I can do is I can just go through and use the key as just a comment on the top, so you can just see, and then you can just do it all in one file. I think it's probably easier just to do everything in one file, and just simpler for someone who wants to go in and just, you know, search through the file and put what they want. And now I don't have to do any of this dark is light bullshit. That's not really a big deal. Maybe I could support something like that in the future, but for now, basically this is fine. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. We're gonna do it that way. How's it going, the? So let's take this code here, and we'll do it like this. Let me get rid of you and you. So that's how that's going to start. Now what we can do is we can grab. We have generate palette here. We'll just kind of grab this, I guess, and then do like this, and then we'll say generate theme. All right, and we got value and name. And what will be passed to this will be, we don't necessarily need that because we're gonna, I don't think we need this. Actually, yeah, we do. Right now, I just wanted to make the file though. So right now, this does if let some palette, blah, 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 blah. I don't need a key though for this. I don't think. No, I don't. I definitely don't. I need like multiple keys. I'm going to be looping over keys for this. And so we can get rid of this. And then I can get rid of, we're going to keep palette data, but we're going to swap this for theme data, and we'll just have that be test. And we don't need to care about this right now. We can do that later. And yeah, I don't care about that. And then we have file system right format. Theme like that, and then we got this. Yep, that's good. And then we're gonna just swap out palette for theme, and yes, theme file. Okay, so this will generate the theme file. So why don't we start with that? So we're setting up the directories, we generate the init file, we generate the palette, and then this is generate color scheme. So let's hold off on that one, and we're just going to do generate theme and pass the stuff that we want. Now this is palette, we don't need that, and this is probably telling me that this doesn't need to be mutable right now. And yeah. Okay, cool. You should rather use a file handle and write that to that using write rather than buffering everything and then using fswrite. File handle and then write to that using write. Okay. You can map join on your palette, by the way. Yeah, we can do that. You should really do the functional chapter. Yeah, I know how to do functional stuff, I guess, but I don't know. I'll do the functional chapter soon. You know what? I'm gonna get this working, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do it better. All right. Let's see. So now we have. We're not gonna use this generate color scheme function just yet. Maybe we'll come back to that in a minute. But right now we're going to generate this theme file. That's kind of the first thing that I want to do. And then we'll write to the theme file later. Like right now we're writing data to it, but that data... yeah, that's probably fine. The problem is that I want to like append stuff later on to this. Like I want to like write it this way and then I want to append stuff later on. We'll have to think about how we're going to do that. I don't exactly know how the best way to do that is. Anyway, so we're generating the theme. We're generating the theme name. Okay, that should do that. So we'll do this. Okay. Come up here. And now we have the theme thing associated with it. But all the other stuff is still there. We're actually going to blow this away. And then we'll come back in here. Run this again. And now. Yeah. So now all of the stuff we want to be there is there. We have our init file. We have our palette file. And we have our theme file. Now we need to write the contents to the theme file. That's going to be the hard part. Now this is the first stuff that really needs to go in there. The problem is, like, I'm gonna write like this stuff immediately to that file, and then I need to append stuff to the file, like after that. But maybe if I already had all of that data ready to go, then that would be okay. Like if I had, like this does generate theme, right? And we could do this all at once after getting all of the color scheme stuff together. So we would like pass I don't think we need the template name. Do we need that? I don't think we need that. No. Here, what we would take instead of this is we would probably take another string, and this would be color scheme data, like that. And then we would append color scheme data to this information here. So like if I got, where's my palette situation? We could just grab this. Right, and then we'll do it like that, and then, yeah. Change FES theme data, yeah. That's so annoying. Okay. And now we have our mutable theme data. Now what that actually is going to look like is no. Let me change enter this, go like this. Grab this stuff, pop that in there. Go like that. Format a bit. Yeah, okay. And that'll be the beginning of it. Now this is set highlight, table extend force, color overrides. We're not going to do color overrides. And then local is dark. We don't need that either. I guess that wants to do that for whatever reason. Now let's see what it comes up with when we do this. Error. Oh, why not? What's the problem? Oh, probably because how I'm calling this. Color scheme data, I'll just pass it like a string. No? Count through. Oh, yeah. Now let's run it. Okay. So now we have all this stuff in here. So now we just have to populate. We're just going to append what we create. And then that's basically it. Then we're done. There's really not anything else to add after that. That's all I have to do. You guys have a lot of complicated ideas here, but I feel like we can do that later on. Generate theme, ideally accept a generic argument in which you'll write like function generate theme, right? Yeah. Let's do it the boneheaded approach first, and once the boneheaded approach is done and it works, then I'll go through and I'll do big brain Rust stuff. How do I get ligatures in Envim? I just have to use the right font and use a terminal that supports it. So that way you can change into what it writes, like to a string or a buffered file. Okay, yeah. Yes. Alacrity, unfortunately, doesn't have ligatures. Come back. Oh, you come from Emacs? Okay. Yeah. I mean, your terminal just has to support it. Yeah, Alacrity doesn't have them. Nope. I'm using Kitty, I think. By the way, are everyone, when mentioning somebody copying their username by hand, is their reply UI for something on the web version? I have no idea. Okay, so now we basically we just have to like write this line over and over and over again pretty much, but with these things being different. So it'll be C dot whatever, is actually in there. So we're going to have to break open the string and we're going to have to do that. That's kind of the idea. And it's going to have to be on a new line every single time. So as complicated and long as this file might look, it's actually very simple because, yeah, there's not really a lot to it. We are going to need to change things like undercurl, or I don't really know what SP is. I'm going to need to look into the highlight function and see what it actually takes so that way I can bake all the features into this. But for now, we're just going to do it the simplest way possible. Okay, so we have our generate theme, and before that happens, let me go up to generate color scheme. That's palette, color scheme. Before that happens, we're going to need to generate the color scheme itself. And then this is going to return something. What is this? Oh yeah, that's fine. And that's fine. So now we're back in here. And we don't need to write to the file system in this loop or anything like that. We're just going to create a string in this loop. And how are we going to make it? I don't know yet. That's what we're going to suss out. That's table data. Yeah, we don't need that. Already, these stupid inlay hints are starting to stack up incorrectly. Yeah, I need to use that at some point. We're going to go piece by piece later, and we're going to update everything to use things that are more optimal and make more sense. But for now, we have this print line, and then we have table name. And this is just going to print out the table names as far as I understand. So let's run that really quick. All right, we're printing out the table names. And then inside of that, we can get the values. Now, can I have something outside the match, which is like holding this data? So I kind of just do like a mutable string out here. And then just do like theme data here, like this. The problem is that would, yeah, no, we don't want to do something like that if we're going to be recursing over this function. We could pass it in and then change it. Like I could have it outside of the function. But I kind of wanted to return it, so yeah. So maybe what we'll do is we just won't recurse. We'll just do it in a loop inside of there, I guess. And we'll do we'll use this thing at the top. This says theme data from. I could probably even just say new like that. Alright, so now we have this theme data concept here. but we'll change this to be DFES. Oh wait, no, CFES. Color scheme data, and then as we're going through here, now this value is actually, what is its type? It is actually a value. Okay, good. So then I can probably grab this here, and I can probably do it even. I could probably do it with an if let. So I could probably do. Where's my if lets? Let me get good at writing them cold. If let some. We're just gonna make this val, I guess. If let some val. And then I think you have to do what, like val equals if let some val. How the hell does it work? I forget. Forget the syntax. If let some equals ba. Okay, gotcha. If let some equals this. Yeah. And so now if that's the case, print. Oh, whoops. Print. What do you think? Nope. This. Mark. And val. And the problem here is. What's the problem here? Oh, it doesn't return as an option. It's an actual just value. Dot as. How come I don't have as string here? What do we got? Dot. Nope, none of that is what I think I want. Let me think here. So we're in this. We're iterating through the table. This is the name of the table. This is the value under the table. I'm gonna have to do some thinking here. Rust sometimes enables me to do things easily, and then sometimes I look at it and I'm like, what the hell is going on? So we have our value. We know its type. Its type is value. It's not some value. So there's none of this. See, when I was recursing over it, that was a good way to do it, because then I could get in here. I wonder if recursion will work for me for this, though. Because this is just going to... The problem is, if I call this every single time, it's just going to new up new data. So I could, like, have the data in there, and then I could, like, change it inside of this function. But I don't know if I want to do it that way. I could pass a reference to it inside of here, and then return it back. I mean, that's one way I could do it. Like, if I do this... And then if I pass color scheme data as a ref, right? like that. And then every single time I would update it with what was already there. And V for value. What's the problem? Oh, this is val. And so now it'll call it again, and then every single time that we get down here is value.asString. Then we can append to that mutable color scheme data, so we can do, I think. Yeah, we'll have access to it here. So then we can do, how am I doing it down here? Yep. Okay, let's go up a little bit. And key and val aren't really a thing here, but string is. Binary assignment plus equals cannot be applied to type string, blah, blah, blah. Type string. Okay. Do that. Cannot use plus equals on type standard string. I've done that before though, I feel like. That's what this is here. It's a mutable string. And let me think about this. I may be doing this in too much of a difficult way. I do want to just like, alright, like if I wasn't doing it this way, right? And if I just said like for like what actually comes out when I, like if I print out val. Color scheme data is string. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. All right, maybe we can do it back that way. If we go to this guy, is it and mute? Is it like that? Like that? I think you can do it like that. Unexpected token. Plus equals can be used on that. Do I have to like, no. Can I do like, what if I get rid of all that? Okay, here come the dogs. Okay. We have that. I don't know. I'm missing something here. I wish you run it in terminal more, read messages fully, and let the compiler shine. Yeah, maybe I should do that more often. Okay, the problem is that I have like all of these other things that will show up. So maybe I need to like, let me quiet the compiler down a little bit. What's the problem here? Found string. Oh, do I have to pass it like this? What? Because it is mutable though. What? Oh, really? Okay, I guess. And then... Okay, these are just my unwrap warnings. Yeah, it should be fine then. Color scheme data, I guess that is used there, so yeah, if I run this. Oh, well, that's one thing. Cannot use plus equals on type mute standard string. Help. Plus equals can be used on standard string. You can dereference color scheme data with that. I thought I did that though, and it still complained. Maybe it was still complaining about like another problem that I was having. Yeah, I think it was. Okay. Yeah, right. Okay. So now color scheme data. I kind of want to see what that actually printed out though. Obviously I'm not writing it to anything. Using the compiler is actually pretty helpful. I gotta say, this is the best development environment you can get right now. Lunarvim plus Neovim plus Neovide. Yeah, I like it. Well, apparently the folks over at AWS like it too. I feel like they should pull me into those chats. How come I'm not in the AWS chat talking about Lunarvim? I could answer questions. Bring your dogs to the webcam already. No, they're monsters. This is semicolon. Yep. Yep. So now, we're adding this to color scheme. So I kind of want to, maybe I'll just print it out too. Where can I print this out? Where would be the best place? Maybe here? I don't know. Let's try it at a couple different places. Print line. Well, no. The best place would be potentially here. Print. Added bells. Sure. And then we'll do that. And then we got color scheme data. And then it complains because of the semicolon. Alright, so now, yeah, I think that's pretty much what we want, maybe. I think. I don't know if that has everything. Why is it doing new lines like this and not actually printing out real new lines? Maybe I need to like pre-print it. Hold up. No. Pain in the ass. So that's that. Now we can print it out. Well, obviously beforehand it's not going to have the stuff. Okay, so that's pretty close though. That's pretty close to what we want. Because this generates a color scheme, and then that finally will generate the theme, where color scheme will actually be color scheme data, like that. And I'll put that as a reference, like this. Yeah. And then now that's in there, and then we'll just do an append. So how was I appending this before? Oh yeah, I think I was just doing plus equals. But yeah, well, we actually have our mutable string here, so we can probably just literally do theme data equals theme or plus equals yes. All right. That's pretty good. Now, is this matching everything though? So let's go and find out. Look at my guy. Am I getting both LSP and highlights? LSP would be starting here, I think. Is this doing a more of that stupid nonsense? Yeah, it's doing it. Nah, wait a second. Alt foreground dark. Where's that at? That's this one. Okay, so it's doing each one of these in. So like, okay, it's doing this one in alphabetical order. So let's make this like maybe a little bit more obvious. We're just gonna do the same in each one for now, and then we'll get a little weird with it later on. And we're just gonna handle 2 values for now. And then this one will be Alt FG. This will just be easier for me to be able to like tell them apart. Okay. So now if we get rid of this, and then we rerun it, and then we go back to the theme here. There we go. Yes. Okay, so it does what we want it to do. We're basically almost done. There's almost nothing left to do. And we were a really cool recursive function that's needlessly complicated. So, yeah. But it's kind of clean, though. I don't know. In, like, a weird way. Maybe it would. Maybe it would, right? But we're doing things the complicated way. And then we're doing things the boneheaded, complicated way. And then we'll go back, and I already have everything bookmarked in my brain that Rem is telling me is the right way to do things, and I'm doing things the wrong way. And everything that now Slavka came and told me too. And now also you. Let me see. I don't know how to pronounce this. I guess Mac. That's what I got. I definitely will go through and do things. I promise. I will go back and I will do things the right way. You need without the question mark to make the new line actually make new lines in curly brackets. Really? Without the question mark? I thought the question mark. What do I know? I guess the question mark is more of like kind of like a debugging thing. I guess that doesn't. Well, can I just do this? Yep, there it goes. Color scheme after added vowels. Sweet. So now we just need a better format string for that. And the way that that format string will look is like this. Right? So we're just going to pop this in there. And so we'll just grab this like that. But we're also going to need to parse this string. So we're going to need to do a little bit of string parsing here. Would this make it easier to make a dynamic color scheme that changes throughout a Neovim session? For instance, it would be interesting to change to a red color scheme whenever an error is present. That would be crazy. Might be a little jarring, but it'd be kind of cool. You could do it. You could do it. You need to do something similar to how... Well, I don't have this... there's like a telescope thing that can do something like that. Oh, happy to facilitate that? Oh, okay. Okay. I thought this was like the same thing as that. To the AWS stuff. Yeah, maybe at some point. Maybe when I'm working on the Lunar Vim stuff, maybe it might be fun to do. Max Veriovkin. Max Veriovkin. We make it complicated first and right way later so that we know how much hurt we could have prevented ourselves. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm really out to do here, right? Is I'm just kind of out to like do things like my kind of boneheaded way, everything I've already learned about Rust. I've already learned stuff about structs and stuff, but it didn't seem obvious to me like how I would do it the other way. I'm trying to do it a way in my head to where it's like, this is the boneheaded obvious way for me to go and write things to these files, right? And then I will go through piece by piece and take suggestions to where it's like, oh, this could be better done with a struct, or oh, this could be better done with the file library or something like that, or oh, this could be better done with clap, or oh, this could, you know what I mean? Because then I've gone through and I know how to do, because I'm doing it in this complicated way, I'm actually learning more about Rust. I'm learning more about how to do things like with edge cases and weird stuff, right? Like I don't know how to put it, but this is teaching me more Rust because I have to do it this way. I don't really know how best to say it, but that's the case. Like right now, there might be a better way to do this, but right now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to parse the string, and that's something I'm going to learn about Rust now. So like I'm going to have to go through this string, and I'm going to have to grab the pieces out. Like I'm going to have to split on the space, and then I'm going to have to grab the first piece and the second piece, and then I'm going to have to pop them in right in here in the foreground and background. So now I have to go and learn how to do the string method. So we have our string. Now, I'm calling this string, but yeah, I guess I'm just going to continue to call it string for now. So I'm going to say, I need to create like a vector or something like that. I don't even know what to call this vector. Values equal to string dot. We seem to have. This happens every now and then. We have to just reset everything. Let's go back in here. Vec. No. Generate color scheme. Yes, where we are. Yes. And so now we have let values equal string dot. And now I want to. Okay, thank you. I probably could actually ask. Yeah, basically that's what I want to do. I want to split and then I want to collect. Yes, but thank you. But instead of that, I want this. So we're going to split on space, and then I'm going to collect it into a vector of strings. And that's good. Yeah. So yeah. See, that's what Copilot, I guess, is nice for. Now what we can do is, let me just copy this and paste it just so I don't know, I have it. And now what we can do is grab this, paste that there. We'll put back in our new line. And now we have highlight 0, normal. We are going to need that key as well. Whatever. We'll figure out a way to get that in a little bit. Now we have this, and this is going to be val, or we're just going to say FG, and then this one, which will be BG, and then FG is going to equal values at the first index, and then BG is going to equal values at the second index. And I'm too used to writing Lua, I just realized. Now the problem here is you need to do this, And then here I need to do this, I think. Yes. And what's the problem here? Oh, okay. Now, let's run that. There we go. There we go. And now if we go and look inside of here, we look inside of the theme, look at that. That's basically what we want right there. Now, the next thing is going to be grabbing this. I seem to have not accounted for that, and that's going to need to be something that we account for. Mac is Max. Okay. Is this Max from the Discord? Made my name easier to read. Oh, thank you. If you're just ignoring none in match, then you can rewrite it to if let sum val equals foo. If you're ignoring... Yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed that Rust Analyzer didn't point it out for you. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed about that too. Yeah, because I'm not using the nuns right now. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use them or not, so I don't know. Like, I just kind of had them in there. But, yeah, I'm actually surprised that Clippy's not letting me know, like, I can swap this to an if let. I probably can. Like, I can do that, right? And then that basically is what you're saying. For now, I'm going to leave it as a match, just because... reasons. Now, the question is, that value string... There has to be a key associated with it. And I have to get that somehow. Now, see, so like I get these, and then this thing comes out. And, wait. It says mode message equals that. I want to like pass this whole thing. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Probably I don't. Let me write some stuff here. So let me do, damn it, table name and val. Okay, yeah. So table name is coming through for mode message. And that's the value. Huh. The problem is like, okay, so this is table name. And then you go through and you get this table name. But the problem is that these empty table names are like kind of the thing that's screwing me here. And then I need, when there's not an empty table name, which is like this thing here. Yeah, then I need to, like that'll be the key. How do I get that there though? How do I get that in here? Because that's kind of it. After that, then I can build everything. Once I have that, everything can be built. Like I could have a color scheme that works right now. I could already have generated a color scheme if I had that. But the string only will grab that every single time. So let me, like if I get in here and I do string, and then if we run, let's like see what comes out of this. Also, I'm going to get rid of this print here. Yeah, it only gives you that. It only gives you that. Maybe I could pass the key along with it when it's a string. I could... Because this is the value that'll get passed through. And the value will end up being a string. And the key every single time. What if... No, that would be stupid. Name is never going to change. I don't even know why name is needed here. What are we using name for? I'm just using it to recursively pass it. Like, do we even need this thing? Yeah, I don't think we even need that. So now we have value and we have color scheme data. And I need a way when a key doesn't have an empty value to somehow like get at it down here. It'd be nice if I could like add it to the string in the beginning with just like a space. Like I could say like mode message, foreground, background, blah, 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 blah. And then the first thing would be, yeah, that's what I would like to do. That's what I need to figure out. So I need to say basically like if there is not an empty value, then append it to the value, recall this thing, and make sure that it's continuously a string. So like if the value is well, the value is not always necessarily a string. Anyway, that can't be that hard. That seems doable. I suppose you can replace your generate color scheme bell name with your match statement. Yeah, let's see if we can do that too. That probably would be even easier, honestly, than me like trying to implement like dynamic programming here. Like if we got rid of that, right, and then we put that in there, and then if I got rid of this, and then value as string, but it's not value, it'll be val as string. Yes. Yes. Some string, then we take the key, which would be table name, like that, and then I needed, well actually I don't think I need a thing for that. I think it'll just grab it from there, and that's basically it. Boom. Do it. Let's see it. Nothing. Shit. Why? Am I not calling that other function? What happened? How come it didn't work? Maybe we never got in here. Did I never get in here? I never printed anything out. We never got in there. Yeah, okay. We never got here. Val.as string. So val was never a string, it seems? We will be doing derive and structs later. Trust me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to understand that. I'm going to get that down. Right now, we're doing things the painful way. I do get why I would want to pack this into a struct. I fully understand why this makes for a good struct, right? Like foreground, background, then we could have like a special type in there. I could pack that all into a struct, and then I could put the name as well, and I could set all of that. Like I fully get that. I'm just not. I'm gonna do it the wrong way, and then I'm gonna kind of refactor it and stuff. This will help me learn Rust. But now my question is, why is value never a string? We're looping through the table, we're iterating through. Value should eventually be a string. And when it is, we should be doing this. But it's never a string. Why is it never a string? You can add debug val. Okay, yeah. Let me grab that. Val's a table, Val's a table. Do I have to loop through that somehow? I guess it's always gonna be a table because I'm just iterating through those top level keys. Okay, so it's a table every single time, but it has what I want in it. It definitely has what I want in it. And is it ever what I don't want? Is it ever, oh, damn it. Is it ever... No, it's never what I don't want. So I can iterate over that. I can just do another... We're getting a little crazy here with the for loops, but that should be fine though. So it's not like there's ever going to be that many things here. So if we do this, and then if I add a curly brace in the perfect spot. Okay, and now if I loop over val, and if I get out of val the highlight group and the highlight values, and then we'll do highlight values, and found for reference value. Okay, so that right now is a reference value, and I can't iterate over it. Let me think about this. Why not? Like, why is it? How do I get it to not? Can I, like, dereference it? No. If I do val dot as table and then dot iter, and then it tells me mismatch types, expected struct, tom map, blah blah blah, value found tuple. Expected a struct. I'm iterating over a table. This is the same way that is. So as table, give me that, and then I get this thing, and then as table, and then maybe I could do dot, and then is sum. No. Oh, that's a boolean, yeah. I think I need to do like another match, like another match. Or maybe I can unwrap. Hey Chris, don't forget the hounds. Yeah, I can unwrap it. And now, what did I just do? Oh, I have like an extra tab open. Okay. I don't know if I really need enter to always be a tab. Okay, so now we did that, and I got all these things, and something happened. Okay, we got in there. I wonder, did this work? Yes. Yes, it did. Look at that. But that's wrong. But that's okay, because I know why that's wrong. That's because we're doing values instead of highlight values. And on string.split, we're setting that equal to values. Oh, no. All right, I'm losing the plot here entirely. This highlight group is table name. We need that to be highlight group. Okay, there we go. Boom. Theme. There it goes. That's what we want. That's pretty good. We basically we can generate color schemes now. Like, there's really nothing else to it now. Now we can just add all the fun stuff to this, and it will just work. Yeah. We're basically, this is like, there's nothing left for us to really do here. As table and unwrap. Yep. Thank you. I'm glad I got there on my own, but it's also very nice to have, like, people over here helping me with it. You know, Slavka tells me the same thing, and I almost never do it. You should get used to unwrapping options and results. Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, how long have I been streaming? I feel like I've been streaming a very long time now, and I think we made good progress. Let me push this up. If you're interested in taking a look at this, let me see. So, beginning to fill out the actual color scheme. Sure. Okay, if you're interested in taking a look at this thing and putting in issues, telling me where I'm stupid and stuff, and when it's done, you can put in PR requests. I'm probably not going to take any PRs until I'm finished doing it because I'm learning. and then once it's done and it works, then I'll take PRs. But if you go to my GitHub, it's just under, you know, Colorgen-Envim. So feel free to rip me apart in there and, you know, say whatever you want to say, or fork it and finish it in 5 seconds faster than me. But it's you know, it's really getting there. So yeah, it's right on my GitHub. And you can do that. I copied your icons, but I'm getting the up arrow. Not getting up arrow? You probably need VS Code icons. Commands? What's that? What is that? Whoops. Oh, you're trying to do that in Discord, aren't you? Okay. I thought you were trying to like get me to like write that in Neovim for whatever reason. The VS Code icons, what terminal are you using? If you want VS Code icons, I can tell you how to do it, but you gotta tell me what terminal you're using. My WinBar icons aren't highlighted. How can I fix it? Give them highlights. I feel good about where we're leaving off with the color gen thing now. We're so close. We're so close. I almost have this now. I feel very good about this now. Using Kitty? Okay. Alright. Let me tell you all you gotta do then. Go to my Envim config. Go into fonts. Okay, and I have forked code icons. You cannot use the regular code icons because they'll be shifted incorrectly. Okay? And for anyone wondering, this is just so how you can get, like, I don't know. Yeah. These are like actual VS Code icons over here, right? They're not like the nerd font icons. These are like the ones that actually come from VS Code. And so I forked them because if you use the regular one, they're all going to be shifted up too high. Now, you're going to take this font thing, right? You're going to take this code icons font, and here's what you do. If you're on Mac, you have to figure out where to put new fonts. I don't know where the hell to put them on Mac. But if you're on Linux, and you can do that on your own, you can figure out where to put them. But if you're on Linux, you can go to local, share, and then you might need to make a directory called fonts, right? But it might already be there for you. And you can go into fonts, and then put it in here, right? Just put it somewhere in here. For me, it'll be right there. See, code icons is right there. All right, and then once you have it in there, you can do FZ cache flag V, flag F, flag V, right? I'll just leave that up for you. FC cache flag F, flag V. And then close all your Kitty instances, whatever, just open a new one. And then the icons will be there. And that's how you do that. I feel good about this, though. I may be writing like the code like very stupid, but I'm learning a lot. So that's what's important. We're going to get rid of this. We're not going to do it recursively anymore. We're just going to do it. We're going to do it the other way. And we got that there, sitting there just for us to look at. Yep. Probably make this an if let too. And I'll probably make this an if let. Right? Kind of simplifies it a little bit. And yeah, we're getting there though. Probably a few more streams and it'll be like workable. I mean, we would only really need to append the bottom stuff for the theme now, and then like we need that Vim colors file, and then that would basically be it. Whoops. By the way, the plugin that I'm using to like do this every single time and like quickly iterate is, I just wanted to talk about this. If we go to awesome Neovim, come on. I'm using Jack from Is On. I love this thing. And I haven't used it yet, but you can put project local JSON config files to run specific commands for your project. So like Python 3 would be one, and then you just, like, you're watching me like open it immediately in a split terminal. Like, that's how I'm doing it. Next stream, hopefully tomorrow. I try to stream every day. Yesterday I had a headache, so I couldn't stream yesterday. I wanted to, but I was just like, I'm not going to be able to think. So I just, I think it's because I ate some, I can't eat like dairy products, or else it just gives me a headache. I'm not like lactose intolerant, like the classically what you think about people who are lactose intolerant, but every single time I eat dairy, I just get like a headache. Like if I eat a lot of it. Anybody know how to find more people who live stream programming? Wish there was a larger community. The only other ones, the ones that I'll tune into sometimes, are TJ and the Primogen, but they're over on Twitch. So those are the only ones that I would really recommend for live coding, I guess. Primogen's a lot more high energy. And TJ's usually doing like Neovim stuff or Rust stuff. Right now I think he's working on like something called SubD, which is like helps you do things with Twitch or something like that. I don't really know. I don't really use Twitch, so it's not getting them. If you're on Linux, that should work. That should definitely work. Yeah, that's for those icons, but I'm talking about like other icons. This is one darker, so you can find this on. If you go to, I'll send it. I'll literally put it in the chat. Just give me 1 second. LunarVim. Yeah, see, it's not here, like one of the main ones. But if you go into the LunarVim repositories, you go to one darker. Maybe I'll make it one of the top ones. And this is it. They look like boring because I just don't really flesh out the readmes and stuff, but these are well-supported color schemes that support like everything, right? So this, one darker and darkplus.nvim, these are like, trust me, a lot of love is going into these color schemes. So they do work. If I called it dark plus, I actually meant dark one darker. Nah, this isn't Dark Plus. This isn't the VS Code default scheme. This is one darker. Look up TS coding. Cakes on Discord. Or Cakes on Twitch. For live coding. Yeah, I literally only know TJ and the Primogen for once. And they're only because they're like Vim related. So that's... I can't even watch other people code if they're not using Vim. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. It might just be the language. You could post something in the Discord and maybe I could take a look. But yeah, one darker is definitely what I'm using. Make sure you update and grab all the newest stuff and you're not pinned to an old branch. If you're using NVim Basic IDE, that's pinned to an old branch. So you would need to get to the new one. Nah, that's not the... It doesn't even look like the default color scheme. Does it? No, it definitely doesn't, because strings in VS Code Dark Plus are orange. And functions are yellow. Cakes is trying to set up forecoder for himself. What's forecoder? Maybe you don't have tree. Oh yeah, if you don't have tree sorter installed, it won't work. Yeah, actually, all the basic ones, I actually need to update those. They're not right. John Who sometimes streams and uses Envim. They should Are you on Linux or are you on Mac? If you're on Linux, then what I said 1000% works. But if you're on Mac, then there's like, you have to put it in the library font section. I do that for work. Codes. Okay, yeah. Love your stream. Thank you. You're on Arch Linux? Then this works. It definitely works. Like, for instance, if you do, you'll know that it worked. If you do FC list, FC list, what does it go? List, and then you can grep. We'll do grep code I, right? So if that prints that out, if that prints something out, FC list grep code I, whatever. I'm just grabbing the first piece of code icons. Then you have that font, and it should just pop up in Kitty. No thinking, all right? Like my Kitty config, I don't put anything in there special for it. Streams Rust and Neovim. Follow my Vim config from Egypt. Cool. Maybe I'll have to check out some of these other streams. I can watch them write Rust and learn. But yeah, okay. All right. I think we had a pretty productive stream today. Our tool is almost, it's almost done. This isn't our tool. Our tool is over here. So yeah. Oh, why'd you put it there? Don't put it there. If yeah, put it in the user one. But if you do want to put it in the root, you can put it in user local share fonts or user local fonts or user fonts. There's somewhere here. There's somewhere else you can put it. I think. I don't know. I know it works on the user one. Stick with that for now, and then if you can figure out how to put it in the root one, then John, okay. I'll save that. Well, that's what I want is educational content right now. Okay. Well, I see why you might want to do that, but I don't know. I don't know why that's not working for you then. Maybe you need to like restart your system for whatever reason. Or maybe you need to run fc cache as sudo. Like sudo fc cache flag f flag v. Yeah, user share fonts. Yeah. That's what it is. Alright, well I'm going to go through all this in the Discord later and get all the streamers and take a look. Yeah, that's where I would have thought to put it, but that directory didn't exist for me, so I don't know. I would say, yeah, the restart might have been necessary. Right. Okay, I'll check that out. Alright, anyway. I'm going to get out of here, though, because I've been streaming for a long time now. And make sure, check out the website, chrishatmachine.com, all the things, all the links. You can support me on Patreon. You can sponsor me on GitHub. I appreciate all my patrons and sponsors. I do need to go through and do a thing where I can like add you guys or come up with like a page or something like that. But yes, that's always very, very appreciated. Also, if you're trying to learn more stuff and you want to ping me outside these streams, you can do that in the Discord. Sometimes I'll answer. You're not guaranteed an answer, but I will answer sometimes. There's also a lot of other smart people in the Discord who can answer other questions. Twitter, you can follow me at chrishatmachine on Twitter. I'll just like literally post these videos and sometimes I like things about Bitcoin. That's about it. Obviously, YouTube and my GitHub link is there as well if you're interested in any of my projects that I'm working on, or this colorgen.envim thing that we're writing on stream right now. All right, that's pretty much it for this stream. I will try and stream tomorrow, and we'll be doing a lot of similar stuff in tomorrow's stream. See you later, guys.